or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond. Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko nikosi, alo komi keshito.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare,
Regina Bless,
Deborah Adoso,
and I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion. Good morning to you, and you are welcome to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show right here on Ghana Talks Radio. This is a news review. Right here we bring you all the relevant stories making waves in the news, from business to politics, from sports to entertainment. We got you covered with the most relevant stories and informed perspectives for my ladies on issues that matter to you every morning right here on the show. I remain your host, Ruth Esinam Fiagbedu, and I'll be doing this with Ms. Debbie Adoso and Miss Regina Bless. Good morning to you, ladies, and you're welcome to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
By grace is sufficient.
Right. Any breakfast yet? Oh, some people are not in the mood. Maybe it could be food. And
They'll get in the mood
very soon. I agree with you. Miss Regina?
Yes.
Or today?
I'm not doing here now, sir.
Mihuye, Bibi Aboko.
I'm not
Who there ye?
doing.
Oh, you daradiase. Please, I'm trying. You daradiase. Right. So transport fares is likely to go up, if not this week, but it should be in the coming weeks. Because yesterday I saw that petrol has gone up to 11 point some quints, and diesel is at 14 and some quints. And the drivers have already started lamenting that, hey, if the government doesn't do something, we'll be there now, then they'll increase transportation fares. Is it that people are not aware of what is going on? Okay. The government's made mention that fuel is going to be available, but the price is actually the problem. At this juncture, I don't think the government should be taking that burden alone. Because if they take that burden, our economy will go into shambles again. If you agree with me, Anna, Miss Debbie.
Of course, because if fuel prices goes up, it's going to affect everything. The drivers are going to increase the fares of transport, and you see, if you look at the margin or the increment in the fuel for me, any bibia sao, but it's huge because you don't buy it in tot, you buy it in bulk. So if per barrel is 11 cedis, maybe 49 pesos per liter is 11 cedis 49 pesos. You don't buy it as such. Maybe you are buying like 20 or maybe 50 liters, and then you calculate 11.49 times that 50. That is very huge.
You see that the one CD actually,
it's
some money.
Yes, it's a money. It's very, very huge. And don't forget that we don't have good roads. I'm saying this because traffic in our Ghana is too much, and so sometimes from here to what's the name, Kanishi Nkwa Petronasa, or the diesel is finished, and then you need to buy another barrel again. Sorry, another liter of fuel. And then when it's happening like that, we the consumers or we the passengers are going to suffer, and definitely it's going to hurt the economy, because don't forget that when the prices of fuel drops, it actually helps the economy, because we feel the impact. Some driver paid attention to the directive of the president, of which they reduced the price, and so prices of fares have been reduced. But now, since they've increased it, they also increase it. And don't forget that we have selfish drivers who are ×3 of what they are supposed to take. So as passengers, we should get ready, unless you want to buy your own vehicle. If not, get ready. We are going to pay more than what we are supposed to pay. And then the cost of living will also be high, because traders will complain.
Yeah, because once transportation goes
high, it affects
everything will go up as well. Right. But the Aboso kind dealers have made us know that
they're not going to increase.
In as much as we've seen the conflict happening in Middle East, they're not going to increase their prices of spare parts. Well, we are just hoping that they keep to that promise, because we wouldn't be here and then they will be like, oh, the war has actually affected spare parts prices. So due to that, they are increasing prices. I believe they did their research before coming out to say such words. Ms. Regina, how do you feel if you get to find out that, oh, this new government actually came into power and then they reduced fuel prices, and due to that transportation prices also went down, but due to some conflict happening in the Middle East or somewhere that you think shouldn't even be of concern to you, fuel prices have to go up? Would you be disappointed?
That,
or you will understand the government or side with them?
Okay, so first off, it's of concern, because baby I inya fuel bombing. Whether it was bombed, it was not bombed, we will still have difficulties in getting fuel, because the Middle East as at now is not a safe place to even travel to. So I wouldn't say I'm disappointed in the government, but to me personally, some of them are candida. Say omutuma menante, I would wake up early by 5:30. I'm about baby dream. Now me tabontain tremo. So me I'll not pay. I'll walk, because from my house to this place is not far. But the people coming from Makati, they will have to pay.
Maybe they will just wear fitness clothing.
Then they'll start jogging.
When you get to the office.
They are tried from Banya to Malam Junction. Hey, no.
It means you don't like walking.
Oh, like when you're in the vehicle, it looks so easy. It looks as if it's not that much. But then when you're walking,
Oh, but we've walked from Banya to the office before.
I know.
Anna?
Yes. Banya to the office. Yeah, that is Banya to the office. This is Banya to Malam Junction.
Where did you pass? Because there's a shortcut.
Because even Korabe Pie Oninase.
Yeah.
Sir?
Yes.
I don't know. I passed the street straight.
Oh,
hey.
My brain.
But you have to ask for shortcut.
I don't
know.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Why did you have to walk?
No, in the vehicle, like every day, I sit in the vehicle, so I see it to be
short.
So I decided that day I'm not going to pay. I'm going to
short.
walk. Yo,
short, there is short.
So you try.
Oh no, it's actually. And I do know they're working with work. Oh, so with the full increment, I'm not surprised, because I think before then NPA came out to say that, oh, they have enough fuel, there's no way they would increase it. But all of a sudden they came out again to say that we should expect increment of fuel and fuel by Monday. And I was like, I don't want to say you have enough in installment, but as they say, you have to always prepare ahead of whatever tragedy that will come your way. So we would pay. We don't have any choice, because I believe if the government have other sources, they would run to that other source. And I think when President John Dramani Mahama went to, is it South Korea?
South Korea.
They launched something Sahel vessel LPG. They launched one, and it's also in petroleum. So I believe with time we would have our own.
The work there will work, because we say if we walk from Circle to Flagstaff House, work there will work.
But do you remember the other time we walked from, where was that?
From Parliament I think it was a demonstration.
Yes.
So the work there
From Parliament to I think Circle.
Yeah. You would walk. And it's a form of exercise.
So mind you that very soon transportation fares will go up, and then when it does,
Cost of living will be high.
I think we just have to comply. Looking at what is happening around us, we will just have to take it like that, and just hope that in the coming days it get better. Right, at this juncture, we are going to dive straight into our news items for this morning. Enough of politics. Let's tackle the issues. Suleiman Abrima on presidential jet. The executive director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleiman Abrima, is calling for an end to the political arguments surrounding Ghana's presidential jet. According to him, the issue has been heavily politicized over the years, making it difficult for the country to focus on the real issue: how the president and other state officials should travel safely and efficiently for official duties. Mr. Brima acknowledged that concerns about the high cost of chartering private aircraft during previous administrations were legitimate, especially with reports that some flights cost between $14,000 and $15,000 per hour. However, he said the public debate created the impression that the president deliberately ignored a functioning state aircraft to use luxury chartered flights, which he believes was largely driven by politics. He also noted that not every country has a presidential jet, yet their leaders still travel to official work, sometimes using commercial airlines. Mr. Brima cited an example where President John Dramani Mahama reportedly traveled on a commercial flight operated by Emirates to the Middle East. He further questioned earlier claims by some politicians, including current Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, that the presidential jet was in good condition in 2024. Mr. Brima says Ghana should move beyond propaganda and political arguments and make a practical decision about whether the country needs a safe and suitable aircraft for the president and other state officials. So this is a call from Mr. Brima. He says that, please, the politics is becoming too much. Let's tackle the real issue. Ghana needs a presidential jet. That is actually the issue on ground. So this whole politicization of the president using his brother's jets, the president chartering jets or whatsoever, and this issue has been long overdue. It's not like it's happening in just this current administration, but it happening previously, where we saw or we heard comments such as the former president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo bathing in the sky. So please, let's put politics aside and let's tackle the issue. We need a presidential jet. Miss Debbie, do you think as a country we need a presidential jet, or we should manage the Falcon that we have? The
Death
old
Trap.
one that we have.
Death Trap, the Falcon. No, we need to purchase a new one. It's very, very necessary. If you look at all other countries, they have a presidential jet. They don't even have one. They have more than 2 or 3. And then I think each of the jet and the each of the jet and the duty it performs. Okay, so we have one for maybe emergencies that armed forces are supposed to use. They have that, and then they have one for presidential travels. The president is going out and all that. So for presidential jet is needed. Yesterday, during parliamentary proceedings, they brought up the issue, and I think one member of parliament said the NDC should come and apologize. And I was like, apologize for what? So because they did propaganda, the NDC then in opposition did propaganda about the purchase of a new jet after the former president said he hired a new jet because there's no washroom and all stuff. And then you didn't buy it. Doesn't mean that they shouldn't buy it too. Or it doesn't portray an instance where you also need to buttress this whole issue with politics. When it's happened like that, because remember that, or don't forget, when you leave power, or when the NDC leaves power, any government that takes after the NDC will use everything that was procured by the NDC for the state. It is for the state, not for President Mahama. It is for the state, not for NDC. So when they purchase a new jet, even if President Mahama or the NDC never comes to power again, whoever takes over, whether MPP, PPP, CPP, they will make good use of it because it belongs to the state. And the president, the safety of the president is a concern and a priority. We can't stand it if the president should be, the life of the president should be at stake. We can't stand it as a country. Seriously. So we need to purchase this jet. And we should do away with politics. Politics, no. I mean, buttressing this whole issue with politics just to score political points wouldn't add anything. So if the NDC, you see, this is my problem with politicians. So imagine we all here are politicians, and then I'm using my politics for propaganda, and then you know that it's for, I'm just doing that to score political points, and you know the right thing. When you take after my tenure, you should do the right thing. You shouldn't say because I did it, so you're also going to follow my footsteps. Knowing fully well that what you would do or the steps you are taking is the right step, why won't you take it? And make it known that you are taking the right steps for the betterment of the country. Why do you want to politicize it? Now, President Mahama, when he picks his brother's jet, people will talk. Why is the president using the brother's jet? He didn't account to us. How sure are we? If yesterday I was listening to one minister, and he was like, the president needs to account. What if the jet of his brother gets damaged? Would the cost be on the state? Yes, on the state, or it's a personal something. Yes, it's true. All this thing needs to be done. But what we are saying is that politics now, it will not help us all. Sana said this current administration passed, we didn't buy any jet or nothing, and then we are still going by the old Falcon that had challenges on it. I learned that even with the Falcon, even if they repair it, there is still a problem. So the best thing is that we should purchase a new one, which we all know that this is safe. If someone is traveling by that jet, we know that the person's life is safe. That is what we want. Right. Politics is not going to help us.
It's not going to help us. Miss Regina?
Yeah.
What do you also think?
So I would say it's much better if we purchase our own presidential jet rather than renting it each and every time if our president wants to go on a mission. I think you made mention of them renting a plane or a jet at $15,000 per hour. And a year, if anything, 2 hours in per hour. And mind you, the traveling doesn't take just 1 hour. It can sometimes take like 3 hours, 5 hours before you get to your destination. And with the renting, it's even more expensive, very expensive, very, very expensive. Because if 15,000 per hour, and just imagine that amount of money just being calculated and used to buy a private jet, it's much better. Because I believe that when you buy in bulk, it saves time, it saves energy, it saves expenses than buying in bit by bit. And also with the politicizing of presidential jets, I would say it didn't start from the MPP, it didn't start from the NDC, or it didn't start just last 8 years.
Oh yeah.
It started from the 90s, because from what I was hearing, I think Kufo, not
Kufo and JJ
purchased it. Kufo said, I don't like. He came, he sold it. He wanted to buy another one, but the NDC were like, no, since you sold the other one, you can't buy it. And now the NDC wants to buy it, and then people are also interjecting, saying, no, you can't. So, like, why are we even politicizing this in the first place? It's not a necessity. It's a want, Anna. It's a want.
It's a need.
It's a need. It's something that every country is supposed to have. How would we, God forbid, how would we feel if we wake up one day we hear that President John Dramani Mahama Nyame who died in the air? Like, what signal is even sending to the other people out there? It's a big shame that common jets, and you're common, but it's common. Just yesterday, helicopter crash at Tema. 2 people, they died like that. And that is not, and it's a car. You can maneuver your way.
That's what that jet and Kaza is a micro light something. It's a jet that doesn't take a lot of people, like 2 or 1. So it's not heavy. If you take people more than what is expected to take, it will crash. And it's not common in Africa, US.
Sorry for them.
Like, just imagine this. So we don't need to politicize it at all. We need to be very disciplined and sensible as a country
about it. So the jets there, we as a country, we need jets. We should stop politicizing it. Middle East conflict poses fresh inflation risks for Ghana. BOG governor. The governor of the Bank of Ghana, Johnson Esiama, has warned that rising tensions in the Middle East could threaten Ghana's progress in controlling inflation. According to him, the ongoing conflict in the region is already affecting important global energy and shipping routes. This disruption is increasing uncertainty in global markets, especially in the oil sector. Dr. Isiama explained that the situation is causing volatility in global oil prices, which could affect countries like Ghana that depend on imported fuel. He warned that if global oil prices continue to rise, Ghana could face imported inflation, meaning the country may pay more for goods and services that come from abroad. The governor also noted that the situation could tighten global financial conditions, making it more difficult or expensive for countries to borrow money on international markets. However, he added that geopolitical tension often push up the price of gold. Since Ghana is a major gold exporter, higher gold prices could improve the country's trade balance and bring in more foreign exchange. Dr. Isiama said these global developments will be considered by the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana when deciding whether to adjust the country's policy rate, which influences interest rates and borrowing costs. He stressed that although Ghana's economic indicators have improved in recent months, policymakers must still be kept cautious because global uncertainties could affect the country's economic stability. So this is coming from the Bank of Ghana. We should be ready as a country to see our inflation going up again. What can we do as a country? Miss Regina?
We can't do anything.
Nothing.
Because we where the issue is going on, that is the Middle East. That is where almost let's say Ghana is one of the countries where we get our refined oils from that country. Now Sisiano, issues are rising, bombs air toto. Who in the right sense will go there? Say okoje oil. And even if you would go for oil, the oil is already up. I learned that it's now your friend is saying $100 plus, and it might even go up if care is not taken. So mind you, if they go for it at, let's say, $200 and they bring it to Ghana, how much would they sell it to the individuals? And Tianfan say, Sisian almost 14. I think diesel, they said diesel is 14 and petrol is at 13 or something.
11.
Let's say 11. No, I think it's from 11 to 14 or 13.
Oh, really?
Yes. So let's say these drivers go to buy it per liter at 14, 15, whatever. They come back to us, the individuals, we are the consumers, and they sell it to us. They will not sell it to us, but they will sell it in indirect form, that is transportation. And mind you, transportation and we the people just using trotro, we would not feel it because we are just paying the increased transport fares. But where we would feel it is from the market women, because they would go and take goods and they would pay higher prices of transport fares, and they would also come and tell us, say, transportation is high. And mind you, when it comes to business, you have to make sure, say, you get profit for yourself. Obi anko krom se okoboka, obi abeko krom se okonya mfasoɔ. Enti se transport fares akohwa, ade me so me di bi beto nwama ne so. Na me di bi to nwama ne so nye inflation na ekohwo no. And mind you, this is imported inflation. The inflation na fewie mu na aba. We the nye Ghana inflation is imported inflation. So I don't know what they can do. This one nye communication, nye dialogue. I don't know if Ghana can go and help stop the war. Other than that, the inflation, we would feel it. We would feel it. There's nothing we can do. Right. Russia and Ukraine.
So, as we are talking about inflation also going high, the governor also mentioned that the tension often push up the price of gold. And since Ghana is a major gold exporter, higher gold prices could improve the country's trade balance and bring in more foreign exchange.
The gold.
Yes. So looking at this as well, we are looking at the positive aspect of it, and we're also looking at the negative aspect of it. Our gold prices will go up.
Yeah.
And that means that we are going to generate more funds.
Yeah, it's true.
That. So how are we going to balance?
We will balance it because, you see, in terms of conflict like this, people or other country now sort on gold for their they now rely on gold and not oil. Okay, so when you look at other countries where they're so much into oil and all that, that is when, just as the way Ghana, we generate a lot of revenue from gold, in other countries they'll also rely on oil. So in a case where they have challenges with their oil, they will now resort to gold. And when it's happening like that, they'll look for countries who are so much into gold, and then they'll try purchasing from those countries. So when it's happening like that, Ghana, for us, I mean, Ghana is a land of gold. So we are going to make more sales. Because as it stands now, we refine gold. We don't send gold out there. If it used to be those days where we mine the gold and then we send it out there, we will still run at loss. If inflation is way too much, Papa, because the price they'll be giving to us there will be something less that could not help us mitigate or balance inflation and ensure that but in this case, they will now resort to gold. They will come to us and we will make more gain, and that in a way can help us. But when you look at the fuel aspect, Ghana, we are vulnerable because we import fuel. We rely on these conflict-prone countries for oil, and now that they are in a turmoil, is it turmoil or turmoil? Okay, my English madam said does it. So you see, now that they're in a turmoil, it has now dawned on us that maybe during the inflation will go up because there they've increased the prices there. So this is a surge in fuel prices that is affecting every other country that is relying on that main country for is it supply? The suppliers, that is relying on that main country for supply. So definitely it's going to affect us, but in a way we will benefit in terms of gold.
But they need to put they need to make we as the citizens a priority, because if inflation goes up, standard of living will also go
Yeah,
high.
to go up. Yeah.
And people are going to suffer for it.
And
In as much as we are thinking about the economy, we should also think about the citizens as well. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, I get you.
Right. Moving on. Mama orders expansion of security service recruitment to 40,000. President John Dramani Mahama has directed that recruitment into Ghana's security services be expanded from 20,000 to 40,000 personnel over the next 4 years. Over the next 4 years. How many years do you have left? The decision was taken after a high-level meeting with heads of the country's security agencies and senior government officials to review the ongoing recruitment process and assess the needs of the security sector. Officials present at the meeting included the Minister for Interior, Mohammed Mutaka Mubarak, and the Acting Minister for Defense, Kisalato Forsen. According to the presidency, the expansion is aimed at strengthening Ghana's security architecture and improving the capacity of the country's security institutions. President Mahama also stressed the importance of transparency and fairness in the recruitment process, urging security agencies to ensure that all qualified applicants are given equal opportunities. The meeting also involved top government officials, including Chief of Staff Julius Debra and other national security leaders. Heads of the various security institutions were also present, including the Inspector General of Ghana Police, Christian Tete Yowonu, the Director General of the Ghana Prison Service, and the Controller General of the Ghana Immigration Service. The expanded recruitment is expected to increase personnel across the security services, which will create more job opportunities for young people in Ghana. Well, I like for the fact that the presidents have actually responded very quickly to this matter. I think he landed yesterday from South Korea, and then right at that point, he, came up with this meeting with these people. But should the president be interfering into the work of the minister?
This is not interfering.
You don't see it as an interfering?
He's not interfering.
Or he's intervening? Which is which?
This one, the bars, bars, my nigga. I don't see it. I don't see it as he interfering, because I've listened to the interior minister speak, and he said they work hand in hand with the president. So if something is going on at the interior ministry and they discuss and they are done, they call the president.
But they're not supposed to be working as independent bodies.
They are working as independent body. Calling the president doesn't mean that the president is intruding in their affairs. What they do is that after they are done, maybe discussing something, and then they want the take of the president on that, they call him. That doesn't mean that every day they'll call the president, or no.
Then the English is not right, because they said the directive is from the president.
Yes.
They could have put it that, after deliberation with the president.
Oh, no.
We decided which one is the president.
It is still the same.
But it's like, looking at what we read, it actually make it look as if it was the president that said, Kianike.
Debbie.
Okay.
Debbie. I think that is how you understand it.
That's how I read the English.
For say that's how I read the English. But I don't see it as such. The president gives a directive. He is the president. He can choose to tell them that don't mind them.
The president has too much power. And I think...
No. So what's wrong with this? He said recruit more people.
I actually don't see anything wrong with it until we have another issue that the president will have to also give a directive. Oh, it's good. We are expanding employment.
Yes.
It's
so what's
good.
wrong? So
I don't see anything wrong with it until another issue comes up. Then they will say the president gave a directive. Then you hear from the minority.
The president gives positive directive, not negative directive.
Okay.
So what of cases where things happen and then they will tell you that order from above? Who is giving the order from above? All these appointees who are working in their various sectors or ministries, like the Ministry of Road, the Interior Ministry, they are independent body, but they are all under the president.
Right. So let's move into what you think about the directive coming from the president.
It's a laudable one.
It's a laudable
It
one.
means the president is a listening president. He listens to the people, because after the interior minister stated that Yes, although I think they needed only 500 people, but they gave out forms of 50,000. But they needed only five. Is it 5,000? Yeah, 5,000.
But 500 people applied.
5,000 people, but they give out forms to 50,000 people. That is what I saw, I think, on Joy News or City.
500,000.
500,000 people
are
applied.
needed.
No,
5,000 is needed.
Yes.
And 500,000 people applied.
Samuel.
Yes.
I must teach a woo.
All right, let me hear from you, Miss Regina.
Okay, so as Miss Debbie said, President John Dramani Mahama is a listening president. If it was to be another leader, they would just jeer their eyes because after all, they would say when it comes to the security sector or the I think it's the job of the interior minister, they would be like, oh, and no mujuma. But this is where sometimes the power of the executive comes in. If you feel like this the decision you're about to take would be in favor of the people, why not? You can go ahead and implement it. This is not abuse of power, but I would say it's someone who listens to the people, because a lot of Ghanaians are happy. This morning when I read the news headlines, people were applauding him for expanding it. And this should tell us the number of people who are just at home unemployed. And it should also send us a signal to the leaders that they need to make sure that they work on an unemployment situation, because it's becoming too much. Just imagine 500,000 people, half a million individuals just at home doing nothing. So what is the government doing about it? So I think this is a greater step in curbing unemployment, and it's a good thing.
So let's hear from the minority. Minority rejects President Mahama's directive to increase security services recruitment from 20,000 to 40,000 over 4 years, calling for the process to be halted and applications fees refunded to applicants while a new transparent system is introduced. Minority, I thought you people said you aid to create more employment. So if the president has given a directive from 20,000 to 40,000 people,
the president of Imila, she's the and also one thing she said that made me happy is the fact that they are politicizing this whole thing. And she said it is bringing issues, because we would always say, oh, we want independence body, but the politicians themselves are politicizing it. They are interfering in it. So they should not.
There's one.
So this is from the minority. Who are you for? Minority or the directive from the president? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining us on the news review. Up next, we have Today in History with Miss Regina.
Bringing you today in history on this day, 1992, apartheid comes to an end in South Africa. White South African voters overwhelmingly 68.7% supported the referendum to end apartheid, approving reforms by President F.W. de Klerk to dismantle the oppressive racist system. This crucial white-only vote, as detailed in the 1992 South African apartheid referendum, catalyzed the transition to democratic majority rule, culminating in Nelson Mandela's election as president 2 years later. 1776, British evacuate Boston. British forces evacuated Boston, ending a nearly year-long siege by the Continental Army under George Washington, after American forces fortified Dorchester Heights with cannons from Fort Ticonderoga. British General William Howard moved 9,000 troops and over 1,000 loyalists by sea to Nova Scotia. To some few global observances, Doctor-Patient Trust Day. It honors the essential bond of confidence between medical professionals and their patients. This day highlights the importance of open communication, trust, and empathy in treatment, encouraging appreciation for doctors who safeguard patient welfare. Lastly, World Social Work Day, to recognize the vital contributions of social workers to social justice, human rights, and community well-being. Led by the International Federation of Social Workers, the 2026 theme is Co-Building Hope and Harmony, a Harambee call to unite a divided society, emphasizing solidarity and collective action. And that's all for today on Today in History and some global observances live on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much, Miss Regina Bless, for Today in History and some observances of the day. Up next, we have Debbie's Girl.
Welcome to Debbie's Grow, where we talk about issues that matter to the state, void of politics, fear or favor. The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu Aboache, says Ghana's unemployment crisis could have been significantly reduced if the one district, one factory policy had been properly implemented. Speaking in an interview, he said the country does not lack well-designed policies but continues to struggle with execution. He revealed that engagement between the private sector and policymakers has begun, although discussions are still ongoing. Mr. Aboache stressed that engagement alone is not enough, insisting that the real issue lies in implementation. He argued that the government cannot by itself address the country's unemployment problem, pointing to the private sector's dominant role in job creation. For just 6%, the 94% or so is being employed by the private sector. So just create the right environment so the private sector, we must empower, we must create the right conditions, he said. On a proposed 24-hour economy, Mr. Aboache said the idea is not new in terms of rhetoric, as similar claims have been made about private sector's leadership in the past. He cited one district, one factory policy as an example in which incentives were introduced but did not fully achieve their intended impact. Mr. Aboache also raised concern about access to funding under such programs, suggesting that the intended beneficiaries may not have fully benefited. So, this is from the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry CEO Mark Bedu Aboache. He's saying that the unemployment issue we are facing in Ghana could have been solved for a long time if the policies we are bringing on board are well implemented. And trust me, the policies our politicians bring on board are so good. Sometimes you sit there and listen to these policies and it makes it sounds so nice in the ear. It's so good, perfect, in fact excellent. And if all these policies were to be implemented from all the successive governments we've experienced, I'm sure by now Ghana would have been at a level where we would not be talking about unemployment again. But the problem is, we bring out nice initiative, we bring out thoughtful policies, and at the end of the day, we don't implement it as we are supposed to do. So let's say, for instance, the 1D1 factory, as he mentioned, the Agenda 111 hospital. You see, all these policies, the policies the MPP brought on board was so good. And trust me, that was the main reason why they were voted for. Because the hospital, as they intended to build, was not only to cater for patients, but also to employ people. So imagine that This hospital, Agenda 111 hospital, was completed, fully completed, and equipped with the necessary equipment. Oh, come on. Nurses who graduate from schools will be employed. There wouldn't be instances where we'll have nurses graduating from school and then they are complaining. They will be employed. Because we need more hands on board. We are human beings. You can't just wake up one day and then determine how your system is going to run. Sometimes you wake up and then you feel so feverish. You don't know what you've eaten. I mean, you feel some way. That is human nature. So every day, every blessed day, we have people trooping into our hospitals for treatment. But they will tell you that the hands which are supposed to cater for these people are small. If you go to hospital and you see a lot of nurses, 50% of them are NSS personnel. 50% of them, they are NSS personnel. It is only a few that are employed as workers in the hospital. So imagine Agenda 111 hospital was completed, one district, one factory was completed. It will employ people. It will employ graduates. And you see, another problem is that when a government comes in power, they start with a project. They are not done. The next government that comes does not they don't even complete it. And that is another challenge we need to look to. That is one thing we need to pay attention to. Very, very significant. We don't complete it. Why? Because maybe when they were putting down, they laid down processes and procedures to build that particular or to make the initiative materialize it or into manifestation or whatever it is. There've been bridges somewhere, corruption relating to the whole initiative and all that. So they don't want to, this government that is coming in doesn't want to associate with that. And another issue is, oh, because Regina started, I don't want to complete it because when I complete it, the credit will be given to Regina, so I'm not going to do it. And that is why we are where we are today. Okay, it's sad, but that is the truth. We still have students who sit on bare floor to study. We still have students who sit on bare floor to study. If you go to some communities, common chips compound community, they don't have it. They have to travel all the way. 50 kilometers to get to a main hospital for treatment. Because and another thing, you might build a hospital, but if the place is not developed, these nurses or doctors, they won't go. Because we've seen instances where the Minister of Health said they've posted doctors to each regions and all that, nurses, and most of them didn't go. Where they are expecting like 13 doctors, 1 or 2 went out of the 13. Why? Because the place is not developed. Sometimes you get there, accommodation, where you get accommodation, you have to walk like 10 kilometers before you get to your workplace. And all this are stressful. Some of the communities, network, they don't have it. I'm telling you, they don't have network. You have to be climbing trees. You have to tie your phone around a tree before you can call someone. And in such communities, unless the person calls you, you can't access the person. So it should tell you that there is more to do. Ghana has gained 69 years, but we are still talking about unemployment. For me, it should be a shame to us as a country, seriously. It should be a shame. Because this should be our utmost priority. You see, sometimes I feel like the leaders, they don't understand us. So, do you know how painful it is to go to school for 4 years and still come back and be a burden to your parents? Well, I don't know whether they've experienced that before. But do you know how painful it is going to school for 4 years, paying fees, calling your parents for provisions, practical or give me money and all that, and after 4 years you are back to the house. Not as if you didn't apply, you applied. You're not being picked just because protocol has placed someone there before you even got to that place. Even in terms of posting, protocol ejuma, it is whom you know. If you don't know anyone there, you won't be posted. And it has created this kind of gap. Unni obia ohana chese wono wasemi embobo agise woni nyankopɔ di empaibo say ya for God to intervene, because you know that we chini we nimbo for be any baby. You don't have anybody to call, you don't have any minister to call, you don't have any member of parliament to call. My yes call me pejuma. You have no idea. Some of these students take good care of. See, when I was in school, there was this particular guy in my school. He paid his own school fees. And he sleeps in the school. He sleeps in the school. Obia coffee no didemwa. Then he has somewhere to sleep. He'll come for lectures. The next day he's out working. He paid his own school fees. So imagine such a person completing school. No one juma year. It's hurting. Seriously. If you're not free, a bit new, he's going to struggle to feed the family. Your dad is looking up to you. Your mom is looking up to you. Your siblings are looking up to you. The system is not favoring us. The system is created in a way that is favoring some class of people. And unless you indulge yourself in that class, you are out of the equation. That is bad. Very, very bad. Oh, sometimes I laugh when I see this, excuse me, but so-called leaders sit down and they tell you that this protocol and things they are saying, it's a lie. Bring the appointment. Let me tell you, some of the ministers themselves, they want to sleep with you before they give you that go ahead to employ you. They do it. But in the light of the day, they come as angels. And that is why now it's funny, but it's not. A lot of youth now are standing their ground. And the empire boy, you wish say because you say it is only God that can break that protocol. Because Ghana, if you see this recruitment issue we are talking about, before you apply, they've already gotten the people. We know. This is not something new. We know what is happening. We know it. It is nothing new to us. If they are telling us that they are employing 500,000 people, by the time you apply, they've already gotten, they have a list of the number of people they've employed. It's a free village bia wobre opejuma. And this reminds me of my late brother. He wanted to go into the immigration. And there was this particular man that was in government. He said, bring the papers, give me money. My brother paid the money. My brother paid this. It's signed. We just can't do. We just can't deal. But he didn't get it. And it became a court issue. It was a very serious issue. And I can tell you that a lot of citizens are going through this. You see this thing that they are saying that come for the forms and all that. You will still have to pay. You will pay. They will tell you back the open in 10 minutes shortcuts, but here we begin to say, is that what we want? We pay taxes. Even students pay taxes because the water you buy, you pay tax on it. So I see no reason why a government or a leader should come and tell us that it doesn't make sense. You don't tell us, say, it is your responsibility to ensure that the jobs are created. It is your responsibility. So I find it upset when I hear leaders telling us that so we should do what? Entrepreneurship is so good. Trust me, it's so good. And even as it stands now, people in white-collar jobs are into other businesses. That is good. But what if you don't have the capital? What if you don't have the capital? So it is the responsibility of the government to ensure that jobs are created. In Kawuye school, and that is why we have a lot of our youth traveling outside the country. Why do you think they are going there? Our leaders that are our youth that are good enough are being employed by other countries, and they are making good use of that, and they are contributing to the development of other countries. Why? Because the system there is favoring them more than this country. Even if I get opportunity today, I'll leave, because it's not helping us. It's not. seriously, the system is favoring some class of people and it has pushed others aside. So please, if you are bringing policies on board, implementation and here corruption is kind of mudidi no monjai. Stop it. You don't bring projects on board, allocate money for the project, and then at the end of the day, you divert the money into your account. Want to punish all of you one by one. Even if you don't receive it on earth, when you get there, the Creator will judge you, and the nature of law, the law of nature, will also judge you before you leave here. Thank you for making time with me on Debbie's Screen.
I am critical. Thank you so much, Miss Debbie. Thank you too for joining us in the first segment of the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. We'll be going for the news shortly, and right after the news, we'll be coming up with the second segment. Please stay with us.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with GhanaTalks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With GhanaTalks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. GhanaTalks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. GhanaTalks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news right here on GTR.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the morning news update on GhanaTalks Radio. In today's news highlight, Chief Justice advocate for technology-driven ADR to enhance justice access. Minority Caucus demands transparency in Gold for Reserve program amidst 240 million loss allegations. Majority Leader defends security service recruitment amidst high competition. Also coming up, World Bank commits 300 million to boost Ghana's secondary education. This and many more coming up your way shortly. Do stay with us for the detail. Chief Justice Paul Baffour-Bonney has emphasized the need to integrate technology into alternative dispute resolution system to accelerate mediations and improve access to justice. Speaking at the launch of Alternative Dispute Resolution Week in Sunyani, he highlighted that technological tools can facilitate virtual mediation and case management, making justice more efficient and accessible. The Alternative Dispute Resolution Week themed adoption of innovation and technology to enhance access to justice delivery through alternative dispute resolution, aimed to promote quicker and less adversary dispute resolution methods. Chief Justice Baffour-Bonney noted that technology can enhance transparency, reduce delays, and widen access to justice for rural and underdeserved communities. This initiative aligns with the Judicial Service effort to modernize Ghana's justice system, leveraging digital tools to improve efficiency and fairness.
This year's ADR Week is observed under the theme Adoption of Innovation and Technology to Enhance Access to Justice Delivery through Alternative Dispute Resolution. And the theme is both timely and forward-looking. While the fundamental principles of justice remain constant, the methods by which justice is delivered must continue to evolve to meet the changing needs of society. The integration of technology into ADR processes offers great potential in this regard. technology it can facilitate virtual mediation sessions, enabling parties to participate in mediation without the challenges of travel or geographical distance. Digital system can also support case management, scheduling and communication, thereby reducing delays and improving the overall efficiency of the dispute resolution process.
Minority members of Ghana's Budget Committee are calling for full disclosure from the government over alleged 214 million loss under the Gold for Reserve program, citing a lack of transparency between the Ghana Gold Board and the Bank of Ghana. The program aimed to boost the country's foreign reserves by leveraging gold assets. The reported loss has raised concern about financial management and accountability. The controversy surrounds the interaction between the Bank of Ghana and the Ghana Gold Board, with former Minister of Information Kojo Nkrumah clarifying that the losses were not solely attributed to the Gold Board. The Minority Caucus is pushing for a parliamentary inquiry questioning the transparency and accountability of the program.
There should be transparency because we asked the IMF, and then since they are diplomats, they could not come out clearly, but it's out there that over $240 million, was an issue between Gold Board and then the Bank of Ghana. So the government should sit up because people of Ghana are not ready to make losses over a program that's supposed to support our currency. Then in the end we are spending so much and then making losses as well. So there is a lack of transparency in the dealings of Gold Board and the Bank of Ghana, which we think the government should come out clearly because it looks like it's a kind of a sensitive area. They don't want people to go at all, but people of Ghana demand to know. We can't just lose over 240 million, yet we will not get good answers to that. Government should be transparent. It is the people of Ghana.
Member of Parliament for Boku Central has defended government decision to allow nearly 500,000 applicants compete for 500 positions in the security services. According to him, it aimed to give every Ghanaian a fair chance to apply. The recruitment process has attracted widespread attention, with over 500,000 applicants vying for position in the Ghana Police Service, Ghana Immigration Service, Ghana National Fire Service, and the Ghana Prison Service. His comment comes amidst criticism over the limited number of available positions, with some arguing that the process is unfair and favors those with political connections.
We promised every young person in this country that we will give them a fair opportunity. So, Mr. Speaker, what we are doing is simply giving every young person a fair opportunity. We could have just gone and gotten, our foot soldiers and just listed them and given them over the same way that the MPP did. But we are not doing that. We are not. We are not. We are giving every young person an opportunity. Now, if 500,000 and over people have applied, it shows the enormity and the problem of unemployment in this country that we need to fix. Because all they are doing is looking for a stable job. That's what these young people want. They just want a stable job. And a job in the security agencies appears to them to be a stable job.
Government is set to roll out secondary education transformation for Results and Jobs Initiative, a flagship program aimed at strengthening secondary education and preparing students for the job market. According to the Minister of Education, the World Bank has committed $300 million to support the project. The program is part of government's broader strategy to modernize secondary education system and equip students with practical skills required for employment and national development.
Significantly, as you arrive in Ghana today, I look forward to the implementation of our new flagship, which is the secondary education transformation for resource, for jobs, which is very significant for us. I'm told that the World Bank generously will support the government of Ghana with about $300 million to improve our secondary education transformation for resource and skills and jobs, and we look forward to that. We appreciate your coming here, and I'm in touch with our Honorable Minister.
The Achim-Mansa Anti-Galamsey Task Force has made several arrests in recent crackdown on Galamsey activities in the area. The operation is part of ongoing effort to combat the destructive practice of illegal mining, which has caused significant environmental damage to Ghana's water bodies and forests. Details of the arrest and the specific locations are still emerging, but the operation is seen as a significant step in the fight against Galamsey.
A fight against Galamsey, no. Medin suomu for no pa na esi meniswa. Meni omo kukiki, meni woka say ma cause several operations. Ya chichi edomni bi, ya seize omonema, ebi wo hono monso so ya peja dia tum. Ya shishi boat, bi wo hono monso ya konso ya kutanchine. Ye dia kwakogu omo engines no ni omonema nema no nyina. Ye first operation ye kokro bi e friend na bloody. E hono na ye ne nadu. Ye ne police. Yene fire for a car yehu Sabrina blue water guards for my inti yene ane ekoye na in fact okohwe baby a enkora no omugu omuye adwuma na ye di be 3 hours ansa na yetimi navigate your way around yes omuti nsuo so e wo se yekofa kro ne fa divers kan yehu but nyame ncha de yetimi bo omode atra kro no so e di twa nsuo no ekọ makache ho baby a omo wono. That day, ya say boat to cry, ya say boat be 12. That very day. The free one my year banos ni achi any pabe 5. Me fasa akwenya we say so ebiem we nya first time. Me kasa chire mi nuanuma egu ensuo. Se me ba na me beto wo mo a me chi wo mo de ba. Me ne wo kasa yi. Ebi a case wo police station, ebi nso so gina court wa ye di o masem. Wo mo a omugu wono ma hwensa nya nka wo mo hunu no say omo fo mo hu di wiki we am no kasa ya no me operation ba baby am ba no me nkan kire ho.
The start operation 5th General in the start operation ye ko ekochichi omo na udru onso a omo dwane and make sure say two omunyoma no the sense no e to be the back police station if you also need to two a you make sure say be shino me asay no. So this in the ono say information we are no afraid no move and say enko ni enko share me kone ko sha ne afre se ni se no madwane no nso me command se yendutumra DC president of Achim-Mansa onye bi da za on ka kire se bia ya chi asmesi na se yakututu sankwa never manira ono se nsuo no ko ade oni ni ba be di nkomo kwa no bofu ade a on pese obi o yedwon nsuo na e bia yakwa kofa na ade me be ka se efema no no ba ko no tikro obidwa on so ko we choleta me yi wadi.
In related news, Frank Amwakohen, the Ashanti regional ministers called on the Amensie Central District to require business registration certificates from individuals seeking to mine in the community. He made the call to ensure that only legitimate operators are allowed to mine in the community. He urged the Assembly to take proactive steps in regulating mining activities. The call is seen as a push for more accountability in the mining sector.
Assembly has said, business operation permits.
or prepare sticker for taxi, for excavator, for whatever. We make sure say nipa no dey ne registration certificate, business registration certificate. Ẹ̀yọ̀ mining am, make license, EPA license, any letter free ministry for lands and natural resources. Ṣe say, ampayamasa ẹni nipa no atonya say, ọmọ yẹ small scale mining. Say any other business, whichever institutions are regulating or more photocopies of all that everywhere assembly. No. So for the assembly need trying to stick at the amawa. When they say we are duly registered, that we are legal, I am operating under the laws of Ghana. And my friend, you can't say I'm solving problems in there because so we make my control papers. As that the ababa be just cano or court filled and not the makoye the one pay. So we be do papers be just stickers. Next, or just stickers or the machine no makoye construction, building construction. Me a back near Coco who say, some machine no be just stickers or the makoye construction no. Ewo galamsey side. The chairman say, and now assembly no be able to be responsible. And you want my do business documents, every 4G, every car, stickers, no, who will be responsible. If I answer, and conform for business papers, not the Bible stickers, no, on the stickers, now something need to be very needed, not about Korea forest. The Korea forest, I mean, they do because they are something stick about one, no. Many say, oh, when they are something in our mother, say, name from a machine in conference. You are something in this stick at the about. You have found myself a machine in conference. You are the miles out the machine about the construction. And to be able to insulate the assembly, no, the representative will make sure that all these documents will be provided. And the business owners, any miners, any construction, any penfuaba, and rather yes, it's say, now first maybe I will buy the car sticker, you must for all these. Now a bear craft, you buy something, and yes, if I man bra, I will see a from Yemen common. Yamamu didn't see how this is a movie ever. Or how be one, never my young, said your bear. Or more ever for the bar around, and as I will back me as if a funny man and brand say, oh, you should have babble frustrated. Name you make sure say 917. It means I could see now buying that
In business, Energy and Green Transition Minister John Chinapor assured Parliament on Monday, March 16th, that a shortage of electricity meters in Ghana is being addressed, with more units set to reach consumers in the coming weeks. Chinapor said the problem arose from a combination of oversubscribed contract and funding constraint. The minister also pointed to the cash water flow mechanism, which governs the allocation of revenue received by the Electricity Company of Ghana, as a factor in the delay. To solve the problem, the ministry has increased ECG's monthly allocation from 300 million to 360 million and indexed it to a percentage of the utilities' total revenue collection. This gives ECG an incentive to increase its collection. The more revenue it collects, the higher allocation it receives. The minister reassured the public that the meters are now entering the system and distribution will accelerate, while stressing a strategic approach to avoid waste. To sports, Austrian national men's football team will take on Black Stars on Friday, March 27th in an international friendly game, and the European nation squad for the big game has been released. The game also serves as 2026 FIFA World Cup preparation game, as both nations have qualified to compete in the tournament that commences in June. Ghana takes on England, Panama and Croatia in Group L, while Austria has been drawn in Group J with Jordan, Algeria and Argentina. The Austrian side is headlined by Borussia Dortmund, duo of Kanin, Chukwuemeka and Marcel, who is on a loan from Chelsea at Dortmund, recently switched his international commitment from England to Austria. Corand and Kevin Danso of Tottenham Hotspur, Real Madrid defender David and veteran forward Marco of Red Star Belgrade have been named in the squad. At the time of writing, Ghana head coach Otuado is yet to announce his squad for the first of two friendlies. Ghana is scheduled to play Germany on March 30th. In showbiz, women in film, television, and media, Ghana successfully launched its organization during the Evolution Workshop, a one-day training and mentorship program held at Jumbo Spaces in Accra. The event brought together creatives, industry experts, and aspiring professionals for a day of skill building and collaboration. The workshop offered free training for women in the creative industry, reinforcing WIFE's Ghana mission to empower and equip women with the knowledge, tools, and network needed to succeed in the film and creative industries. The program began with the official launch, during which President Julius Ibrahim introduced the organization's vision and long-term goals of strengthening women's participation and leadership across film, television, and digital media. She also encouraged women across the industry to register and become active members of the growing Ghana community. The event featured keynote session by Sonia Ibrahim, actor, entrepreneur, and licensed therapist who spoke on mental health in the creative arts. Her presentation addressed the significance of maintaining emotional well-being while navigating the demands of the entertainment and creative industries. Participants then attended a series of practical master classes led by respected professionals in the industry. Topics covered included financial literacy and content monetization, acting fundamentals, the business of acting, cinematography and photography, and the use of artificial intelligence for creatives. The workshop concluded with a session on branding and personal development led by Juliet Ibrahim, which focused on helping creative position themselves strategically within the industry. On some global updates, 10 people have been killed after a fire broke out in the trauma center of a government hospital in the eastern India of state Odisha. All the victims were patients, while 11 staff are being treated for burns suffered trying to rescue patients, the state chief minister revealed. The fire suspected to be caused by an electrical short circuit started in the trauma care intensive care unit in the Cuttack city around 2:30 local time on Monday. Hospital fires are often reported in India, with many of the blazes being attributed to electrical fault. Last October, 6 critically ill patients were killed in an intensive care unit fire in Rajasthan state. In 2024, a blaze in the neonatal unit care of a medical college in northern JCCT killed at least 10 newborn babies. In 2026, fire in the intensive care unit of Vijay Hospital in the western city of Viral killed 13 patients receiving treatment for COVID-19. Another fire incident in 2021 at a newborn care unit in Bandara district in western state killed 10 infants. In Odisha, the blaze was brought under control after fire service personnel rushed to the hospital. Patients were moved to other departments inside the same hospital, officials said. Speaking to reporters after visiting the hospital, Maji said fire affected the trauma care intensive care unit as well as an adjoining ICU and wards. Maji said medical staffs and security personnel risked their lives during the rescue operation, with some of them being injured. Added that The government had directed officials to ensure proper treatment for those hurt in the incident. The state government has announced financial compensation for the families of the victim. And that's how we wrap up on the morning news update. I will be back with subsequent news bulletin later in the afternoon. Until then, do have a good morning. My name is Deborah Adoso.
GhanaTalks radio ɛwɔ UK abrochimemu era from Ghana mu ha the sound system which spinning machine papa every amana ne aba begu o Ghana mu ha enti sɛ woyɛ ayie woyɛ engagement woyɛ wedding woyɛ birthday party political parties are moyɛ rally sɛ moyɛ asɔre a moyɛ crusade so wo bo carnival or any kind of event now wo pe spinning machine papa a bo sound no mu e de dia ene me kanfo GTR sounds e de emawo ye wo live band nso a wo to nsa e de frenya ye betimi ababeboa ama wo dwumedi a wo die ne so atimi aye kama pa ye wo enkan poponi mantamo anya aponchi hotel e ho pepepe e na ye butuo wo dia ne se wo be frɛ empanifo e wo 0546960510 GTR sounds de angaza.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi keshito.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on GhanaTalks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bless.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show.
Good morning to you once again, and you are welcome to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show right here on Ghana Talks Radio. You're welcome to the second segment of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Right here on the second segment, we are going to be dealing with national and topical issues that are of importance and relevance to you every morning right here on the show. And I must say that this morning we have two brilliant gentlemen who are going to be delving into the issues right here on the show. So this morning for our topic for discussion, we have presidential travels, accountability and transparency. And we'll also be delving into the issue of Imani launching campaign to track wealth of public officials. That is also part of the issue we'll be looking at this morning. Right, so we are streaming live on Facebook at Ghana Talks Radio, on YouTube at Ghana Talks Radio, and also on X at Ghana Talks Radio. This is the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Do well to send in your comments. Let's get interactive. Engage with us. Send us what you think. Send us what your opinion is on the topic we'll be discussing this morning. And as you know, it's this morning and every other day we come along with knowledgeable guests who are going to be delving into the issues we have from the NPP, we have from the NDC. Today we don't have any independent candidates in our midst this morning. So for this morning we have seated right here in the chair Mr. George Asabo, Greater Accra Communications Team. If I mention it, what?
Asabri, you know.
Asabri.
Asabri, you know the tree.
Yeah.
People mostly pronounce Asabri. Yeah.
Asabri. So George Asabri.
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 You try it. I mean,
you let me maintain the George. He's a Greater Accra Communications team member and also the NDC's communications team member. We also have Mr. Emmanuel Chambers. Today is not Wednesday, but he's in his full. We have Mr. Emmanuel Chambers, NPP Communications team member. Good morning to you, gentlemen, and you are welcome to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Right.
The pleasure remains mine.
The pleasure remains yours. It's indeed yours. How are you doing?
By the grace of God, though I would say that as usual, we are doing well, but when it comes to the issue of governance in the country, it's actually a problem. But for now, I think by the grace of God, we are doing well.
Do the minority ever get satisfied? They always have a problem. So I'm not surprised if you say you have problems with governance.
Well, the problem is we are very much concerned about the contradictions of the same government. In fact, this person has said this and is putting the blame on this person and all that.
Before we get into that, let me welcome my fine gentleman.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity given me.
Right.
I'll say good morning to you guys and good morning to Iman.
That one they are welcome.
Oh, you guys know each other?
Not yet.
Not yet. But you two are already vibing.
Yeah,
the chemistry is there.
It's all part of
I see. So you see, whilst you're in your house fighting with people because the person is NPP and the other person is NDC, come and see them over here. They are vibing like brothers. So know how you do your politics in your house. Okay.
Yeah, then to say good morning to the cherished, is it viewers or listeners?
Yeah.
I think both. Yeah.
Yeah, both.
And also to say, I think I forgot to give us your name.
My name is Esinam.
Esinam. So
yes.
Ewe, right?
Yes.
Okay, so sweetheart, I believe I can more or less call you by that.
Yes, please.
I'm fan of that, so pardon me when the sweetheart comes in.
I hear. If only my beloved will not come for you.
Beloved, that means you are a lightian, right?
Oh no.
Oh, okay, so
I'm not.
Just tell him to. Pardon me for today.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just say it just on set. After that, then it ends.
And then it ends there.
Right. Yeah, so I think my brother was trying to talk about governance.
He said he's not happy with it.
Yeah, I was really surprised for NPP person to talk about governance under the current administration.
I see.
Is it yes? It's right, or mostly it's known that the NPP, or mostly minority people, mostly criticize the ruling government. But you see, the work of opposition is not always, should I say minority, is not necessarily always criticizing the government. It's to give constructive criticism or to give alternative ideas as to how, okay, the government is doing it this way, but we believe that if you should go by this tangent, it will rather be proper or better as compared to what you are doing. But the opposition that we are seeing under this government is more or less like content creators. They are not doing anything than just the publicity, just to create the sensationalism and other things, which really is not helping the country. This is not the Ghana that our Ghanaians are looking up to build. You see, we have moved from that old tactics, the old way of doing politicking. You see, Ghanaians are more or less result oriented. They're looking at results, not always being on radio, being in parliament, saying all sorts of things. You see, I was really surprised when the minority leader on parliament floor could just make any kind of comment, and at the end of the day he had to come and apologize, which in my view, it's a way of reducing the kind of standard that has been set when you are being acknowledged minority leader. You see, some comments should not be coming to people in status. So if my brother should, tone down when it comes to governance issues for this morning, I think it will be better for all of us.
It will be better for all of us. Would it be better for you?
You see, I don't know. You've not been fair to me.
How?
I wanted to go there. You stopped me. I didn't make any comments around it.
I had to introduce him. So once he was done introducing, he just went ahead to reply. So I knew definitely I'll be back to hear from you as well.
One beautiful thing about all this thing is that
there's something beautiful about it.
The lights for the Ghanaians, as we said now, is Honorable Alexander Fenyo Markins.
The light. After he lied to us,
making a lot of input into this government that will go a long way to favor an ordinary Ghanaian on the street. The issue of all this recruitment, the services that we're talking about. Look at his contribution. Look at his position. He has been doing so well there. He tells the government, do this and do that. They don't listen, but at the end of the day, they come back to pick his view.
Right. Since you've already gone into the issue of the recruitment, I think we'll touch on it briefly, maybe 20 minutes before we dive into the main topic for discussion.
Okay.
We've seen a directive from the president to the interior minister that they should add more numbers to the people that they'll be called to be a part of the security service. And we've also seen from the minority that we are not going to agree to that though. Right, let me read it. Minority rejects President Mahama's directive to increase security services recruitment from 20,000 to 40,000 over 4 years, calling for the process to be halted and application fees refunded to applicants while a new transparent system is introduced. How is that even possible? Do you think it's possible?
It's very possible.
All the 500,000 people that have applied, and out of that they picked only 5,000, they should give their monies back to them. Has it ever happened before?
It has not happened.
Has it happened? Did it happen under your tenure?
No.
So why do you want it to happen under this tenure?
Very well. You see, the argument comes as a result of the fact that when you are going to enroll in recruitment, especially into any of the services, you look at how, the vacancy that you have. If you have, let's say, 5,000 as they want, you have to limit the forms to a reasonable number. Probably you can add 3,000 people to it. But this one was so open that they sold the forms even when they had over the number, because you can't tell me that you will do recruitment into services without knowing the quota that you are supposed to recruit. And so you were under their watch. They sat down and allowed the number to exceed 10,000. They sat down and allowed the number to exceed so many thousands that we can talk about.
But have we seen that before?
No,
limiting the slot.
Yes. In 2017, when the NDC was on IMF and they put a ban on public recruitment, when Nana Idudan Kwaku came, they reviewed it. And when they reviewed, what they did was that we wanted to take a certain number. So they said, this is the available forms. And they gave a date. But these people, you knew that, or you realized that The dates they gave for recruitment, it exceeds a month, or it was a month.
It was a month and a week.
And I tell you that within the 4 days, they already had above the required number. And you know why?
So you think they should have closed it?
They should have closed it.
But don't you think that would be unfair to those that they wanted to apply because of the deadline they have given them?
No, that won't be very unfair.
Oh, are you sure?
That won't be unfair.
Let's assume Legon has given you a time limit to come and purchase form, and then they later come back and tell you that, due to the numbers we've received so far, we are not going.
No, they are not going to. They are not going to come back to
would
say
that be fair?
No, they are not going to come back.
So what would they do? They'll close it without
they would
informing
have
us.
The interior minister would have sat down and said that, look, within a week or two, the forms will be available. All interested persons should buy. You understand? Now, you were using a computerized system. That is what they said. They said they don't want the manual system. We wanted to use the manual system. And you know why we're using the manual system? It will help you monitor the number very well. They said our system was not very well okay. They brought the computerized system. And with the computerized system, you know, every day it will give you a total number of the people that have registered. People that have gone through the successful registration. That's not the issue. Now, with your computerized system, you know that they are frustrated. The NDC is frustrated. The Interior Minister, everyone within the Ministry of Interior Minister, they are all frustrated. They are very confused. They don't really know what they are doing. Why? If you look at it very carefully, you have qualified everyone now on the system. Some people, they will check their portal today, qualified. The following day, disqualified. Some will have disqualified today, tomorrow, qualified. The system is not stable for the applicants. Two, they are spending so much money on it. You know, people will have to be buying data, accessing their dashboard, accessing their portal every day, every day. That is why we told them that let's put the thing on a manual way, even if we are putting it in a form of computerized system, or we are making the computerized system working. Then we should make it that we get experts to do with it. They were not running after experts. They were busy going around doing things they claim they know. Now the whole thing has backfired. People that are qualified are more than the total number of people you are looking for. Now you are going to push them to the medicals. What if all of them qualified? What will be the selection process again? What will be the merit-based selection?
Right. Let me ask this. How were you doing it under your administration?
What we're doing is that if we have a vacancy of 5,000, we will enroll, let's say, 10,000. You understand?
5,000, 10,000.
If we have 5,000, that is the vacancy. In this case, they have 50,000 or something.
I'm getting confused. Can you come?
If we have 5,000, and we are going to enroll the application process, then we are going to make the forms available. What we'll do is that we will have just around 10,000 forms available for the applicants. So from there, they will know this person has not met this requirement, then this person has also not met this requirement. They will handle it professionally in a way before they are done. They know the number of people that have qualified, and they are very close to the target. Are you getting it? Then the medicals will not take care of some other people, because the medicals is the final stage. The medicals is the final stage. And right after the medicals, there's nothing they can do. If someone is qualified from the medicals, there's nothing they can do. And now you can't go for the medicals and they will disqualify you when you don't have anything pertaining to the laid down sickness they are talking about. Once you graduated from that sickness, then there's nothing. If you look at it, they said they are going to do pregnancy test, they are going to do HIV, and some of those related, sickness. But I'm telling you that most of the guys will pass through it. And now, the thing I want to say clearly here is that this system they have enrolled is a system we should all condemn. The computerized system is good, but the people, the experts behind it, they are not doing their job. If they are doing their job, now the total number of people we are having, after disqualifying or picking others, what happens to the other Ghanaians? In fact, it's a risk. Now, I listened to the president saying they'll add up a number, and even there is a communique from the presidency that people that are qualified and they might not be able to enroll, they should keep the numbers for next year. What if someone is qualified this year, next year the person is not qualified? Are you aware someone can qualify this year, next year the person will not be qualified?
How will the person not be qualified?
Age is one of them.
Age?
Age.
Okay.
You should have an age limit. And so if I'm qualified this year by my age, next year that age has been added.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Chambers. Let me hear from Mr. George.
See that? You see, as earlier indicated, it's obvious that MPP have, should I say, have not actually learned their lessons from what happened in 2024 elections. You see, they are always thinking about creating the sensationalism in every situation, not really dealing with the issues. You made mention that the president of the land, looking at the circumstances that we found ourselves in terms of the service recruitment, the number that applied, the number that qualified vis-a-vis the possible people that might be going through, to the recruitment process. The president thought it wise that no, let's increase the numbers. The president, if you look at the policy by the president or the government, was that we're going to recruit, let's say 20,000 within the 4 years. You understand? But the president sat down and said, no, looking at the exigency at this time, let's increase it more or less by twice. So if we are to recruit, let's say 2,000 this year for, let's say, immigration, the president is saying that increase it. You understand? So it's a way to respond to the exigencies that we found ourselves in. But for the minority to come out to say that no, we don't accept the position being held by the government, it makes it difficult for any reasonable or objective person to accept this kind of proposition. So this is what I was saying, that you see, as opposition government, your work, or opposition party, your work is not to criticize anything that the government is doing or the government says. You have to propose more or less a solution to the problem. So what solutions have they proposed regarding to what the president has just come out with? What is the alternative? What should you do if you think that the increasing the number will not solve the problem? You see, they are talking about transparency. Like, really? I don't know if my brother Imai is just coming from, maybe probably was not in Ghana when we were going through under the regime of the previous administration. Because if I could recall, for about 4 to 5 years, we never saw publication regarding to service recruitment in Ghana here.
Why?
And you are asking me why? That's you understand it. It's emphasize my point that Iman was really not in Ghana here.
Like, I don't get it. Can he explain further?
I spoke English. I speak Chi.
No, he said 5 years, no publication.
I said about 5. Yeah. There was no publication in regard to service recruitment in Ghana here.
Like, I don't.
If you have any,
there were no selling of forms in Ghana here.
What?
Go and check. Do your checks.
If you have any, you can actually vindicate.
So what happened was that they will tell us that, oh, I think the forms that was sold was 2017, 2018, 2018 also thereabout. They came to tell us that, oh, when the issue came up, asking them why they were not selling the form, or they were not more or less publishing the recruitment process, they came to tell us that, oh, they are clearing backlogs. You shouldn't worry. Oh, the process, some qualified and they did not want to. They qualified, so they wanted to clear that backlogs, and at the end of the day, they will come back to the normal processes. Because we know in Ghana here, the process to go into the security service is what the government is doing now. You sell forms, people buy the forms, go through the recruitment processes, and at the end of the day, those that qualifies are given opportunity to go and serve within the necessary security services. And this is what the current government is doing. The only thing the current government has added to is the digital aspect of it, or the writing of, should I say, test, the attitude test, should I say, via the internet or whatever, if I should put it that way. That's the only changes that has come in now. All the processes has been in existence for years, or should I say decades.
Right.
So nothing new actually has happened. You see, he's talking about refund. In 2018, if I should just refresh his memory, then government saw over 84,000 forms, if I should put it that way.
Yeah.
And they recruited just 500. I want to ask my brother Ima, did they refund that money to the applicants who were not able to go through successfully? You see, when we are dealing with the issues, we should try to deal with the issue holistically. I have a personal reservation how things were done, because in my view, that attitude test that were, should I say, was written on the internet due to the technical challenges. Some people were disqualified unfairly. Some people were not able to write the exams or qualify to write the exams. Not necessarily they were incompetent, or more or less they couldn't answer the questions right. But because the timing that allocated to them, some way, somehow, because of technical issues, they were not able to continue. Somebody was giving an instance, he started just within 20 minutes into the time, and then he had that kind of system errors. The system was actually shut down, so he was not able to, proceed. So if said person is being disqualified based on that, how do you blame said person? How does the person get the opportunity to rectify that problem? So my view is that going forward, the system needs to be straightened. If we want to use the same strategy or the same principles, then the system, I think it might not be necessarily the internet, but the website issues. So you have to find a way that if there's a lot of people even on the website,
on the site,
yes, they'll be able to host all of them.
They'll be able to host.
Yes, so that to not create any form of the incidents that happened just the last recruitment.
Right.
My brother also made another, should I say, remarks or if I just comment concerning a way to ensure proper recruitment processes. The government should have, or the Interior Ministry should have closed, or more or less, yes, and then the recruitment process at some point in time when they realize that certain number have bought the forms. You see, I find it a bit funny, because if you are engaging in any form of recruitment, that's why you have time limit. If you give 2 weeks, you know that within the 2 weeks you have given opportunity for the applicant to access the forms and apply. Yes, it is not the fault of the Interior Ministry for those people to overwhelmingly purchase, or should I say, access the security institutions. The problem is that the previous administration was unable to sort all those people out, because this backlogs did not created within just 1 year. It's as a result of the incompetence of the previous administration to recruit those people, because most people were treated unfairly. Those who wanted to join the military, who wanted to join the police, the fire and other security agencies were not given the opportunity, because the forms were sold to solely MPP affiliates, or more or less kept under their drawers.
Do you have any facts to that?
Yes, not necessary, but you see, the thing was not given, or was not in the public. So those who wanted to, Ghanaians, if I should put it that way, who wanted to access the opportunity were not given the chance to, because they were never heard of any recruitment processes or publications. They were not given the access to buy the form. So how do you then get opportunity to go? So if my brother should talk about, truncating the process, why it has not even gotten half of it, really does not sit well with some of us.
Right, Mr. Chambers, why have you people decided to reject the directive coming from the president, and also asking that their monies should be refunded to them, when you also didn't do so?
Listen, before I come to that, let me make some corrections here. Forms not sold for 5 years. That statement passed by my brother is untrue, and you can do your checks. In 2021, we sold forms, though it was very limited, but forms were sold. That's why I say you can do your checks.
Do you have the numbers? How many?
I actually don't, but I'm saying that in 2021 we sold forms.
So what year?
In 2023, you can check.
What year did you not sell forms? What
immigration? You said within 5 years. You quoted 5 years.
I said about 5 years. I made that statement. Yes, I'm not.
You made that statement, and I'm saying that quickly you run into any trusted portal, even though Imani and some other civil societies raised concerns about the way we sell forms. But 2021 we sold forms.
Do you have the numbers?
I actually don't have the number. I didn't go into that, but I'm saying that in 2021 forms were sold. In 2023 forms were sold. You can do your checks under the immigration. You know, we only put them into sections.
Just immigration.
No, not immigration. I said he can do his checks. For 2021, I bought forms for a junior brother in immigration. If I don't know anything at all, that was what happened. So you can.
It's an so you get access.
No.
Maybe they gave.
You see, you said for 5 years we have not done any. We didn't enroll any application forms, and I'm saying that in 2021, forms were enrolled. Forms were. I am saying you can check. When you were talking, do you know what I did? I quickly have to search around. So maybe probably
because during those periods, you were searching for forms to buy. I didn't get some.
When you were searching for
yes,
you didn't search at the right place. I'm
saying that. So that's why I'm asking where were those forms sold?
It's supposed to be accessible.
If you can help me.
The point is that if they give a timeline and you were sleeping and the day you walk to the bank or any place that you want to get a form and you are not able to get it, that does not guarantee that there were no forms sold. But if I just want to let the public understand that the idea of forms were not sold in this country for 5 years is highly untrue.
So how long?
And I want to say that's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that 2021 we experienced it, 2023 we experienced it. When you went to IMF, you see it's very unfortunate. I'll come to your question, though I've forgotten.
Your time is actually limited.
Very well. When you sit to say that the MPP should be the last, or MPP members should be the least people talking about accountability, criticism. I understand why the NDC don't like criticism. It's a constitutional obligation. Criticism is part of our laws, and you should not be running away from criticisms. When you don't get things right, you don't expect people to be quiet. You understand? You spoke. You see, when you want noise makers, the noise makers are in NDC. We all know in this country, in fact, the whole Africa, noise makers are in NDC. We know. So when you were in opposition, we heard everything you said. You spoke a lot. Now you want us to remain quiet for what? That notwithstanding, just do your checks. Your question, I would love it if you repeat the question.
Why are you rejecting the directive from the president and asking that they refund the money when it's actually the first time we are hearing anything of that sort?
After you buy your forms, like what we normally do after buying your forms, what really happens is that you are not supposed to go through any stress spendings and all that. You understand? Now, I understand that this their computerized system. A lot of people have to go on it at all times, spending a lot of money on their credit, even the aptitude test and all that, where they ask very unreasonable questions because they have told AI to do. They made people to go through a lot of trauma. You see, the totality of it all is that a lot of people who bought their forms spend a lot. They have to be buying credit bundle at all times, assessing their portal, and why are you pushing students through that? No, some of these people are just from senior high school. They don't really have anything. Even people who have graduated, what do they have? You are putting them on this system, charging them at exorbitant prices. Do you know how much you are supposed to have as data before you can access your portal and all stuff? And so I think that it was the money in there, if you check it, is so huge enough that the government should have looked at it. If we know our demands for the repayment, they are not going to pay. We know they are not really going to refund the money to the innocent citizens on the street. But we are very much concerned about how they have not actually tested the system very well before enrolling the system and charging the students at high prices. If you look at it, emotional trauma is also counting inside, right? So I think all these things, if you have taken this issue to court or whatever, you the defendant, if you are found guilty, you are supposed to pay for damages. And so I believe that refunding their money, their monies to them is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Sure.
But in your administration,
I told you that
83,000 people were disqualified and their monies were never returned to them.
How much did people buy forms as at then?
Wasn't it 220 cedis? I don't know how much they buy the forms.
It was around 100 cedis.
It was around, and even that, you didn't think of refunding their monies to them.
You see, our system was so, was in a way that, if you look at it, students after buying forms, you don't spend anything. Or people after buying forms, you don't spend anything. But this one, after buying forms, you spend a lot.
It's just like you going to school. After forms, you buy books. Won't you buy books? Won't you pay TNT?
I think people who are struggling to enter into any recruitment, like any uniform work or whatever, in fact, those people would actually have to put their lives at home. They have to put their lives at risk before going in there. Me today, if you give me a military man, I don't want it because.
But if you're also going to school, your life is at risk.
How?
Because you're on the road. There's a probability you come home. You not come home.
These people are coming out. Going to school is your personal favor, right?
And the military is not a personal decision.
You are going in there to save the nation.
And is it not a personal decision you take to serve the nation?
Listen,
did somebody force you to serve the nation?
Madam, please, we don't have to say that. Those people in that services, those people, those soldiers and military you are seeing, I tell you, they are doing a lot for this nation, and that is the reason you and I have that privilege of sitting like this. Other than that, there won't be law and order in the country. So they are really doing well. And anybody, I see that anytime someone is going to queue for immigration, police, prison, military, or whatever, I see these people are the people who love the nation.
We don't love the nation.
No.
We are not disputing the fact that whatever that they are doing is not risky or something, but I feel like it should be a choice. Nobody should push you to go in there.
It's a duty call.
If me sitting here,
it's not a choice. It's
interview you, it's actually a choice. I can decide to interview you. I can decide not to come to work.
Listen, going into the military service or any of the services, it's a duty call. That's one thing I believe.
It's a choice.
Sometimes some people don't even have a choice of living serving there, but they want to sacrifice for their nation. Do you listen to their last oath when the oaths they take when they are going to recruit them? I put my life and I promise to fight with all my blood in me.
So are you saying that those that are going into that profession, they don't know that they are putting their life at risk?
They know, but that's what I'm saying. It's a duty call.
So
they want to serve the nation.
It's your choice to go or not. It's my choice to be a journalist or not. It's my choice to be a military man or not. It's a personal decision you take. Nobody should force you to do it.
Aside our interest in politics, I believe that military is personally, to me, it's not a choice, but sometimes it's a fact that you have to serve your nation.
All right. At this juncture, we are going to dive into the main issue for discussion this morning. Right. So this is actually the issue of presidential travels and then using his brother's private jets for government assignments or government travels that have actually sparked a lot of concerns by people that it looks like the president is breaching his own code of conduct. Why are you using your own brother's private jet to travel for government duties? What happened to the private jets we actually have in the country? Because whilst they were in opposition, when the previous administration wanted to purchase a new presidential jet, there were a lot of backlash. But looking at it coming from other civil society group, they're also saying that we shouldn't politicize the issue, but we should tackle the issue on ground. Indeed, Ghana actually needs a presidential jet. So this whole controversies, but aside that, the controversies there will happen. People will raise their concerns, calling for transparency and then accountability as to the money involved in, the president using his brother's jet, and if any damages actually happens to that jet, who is going to incur that debt? Is it going to be the government or is it going to be his brother, since the president is using that? In all of this, what's your initial thoughts of the president and his travels with his brother's jet?
You see, all this that is happening is just a storm in a teacup. You see, the question is that the president, whatever it is, must travel. How should the president get to South Korea, as at his last travel? You agree with me that the Falcon, that's the presidential jet, the Ghana's presidential jet, is not in good shape. When we came, I think we took it to France for repairs. Yes, when it came, yes, it has also developed another. So it's going through more or less like safety reviews. And you see, for a presidential jet to be available for a president to use, it needs to be more or less cleared. Some form of need to be given that it is safe for the president to use the jet. But as it stands now, the presidential jet is still going under review. So the president must travel. Last year, if we recall, when the president was going to Singapore and then Japan, he decided to use the commercial. Decided to fly commercial.
Emirates.
Yes, and the issue is that the question is, why is the president not using it this time? It's obvious, looking at the exigency at this time, it was a bit impossible for the president to use the president. Looking at the long hours the president need to travel and all those stuff. Because the other one, I think he moved to Singapore, from Singapore before he later moved on to Japan. So this time, looking at the situation, it's a bit difficult for the president to go with the commercial flight. So,
but how difficult was it?
Yes, you look at the security implication of it. You see, when he did that Singapore travel with the commercial, we all know what happened in this country. A whole lot of issues were raised in terms of security issues. Yes, there's a serious security implication for the president to be using the commercial. It's not surprising that the Kufuor never used commercial flight in this country. You understand? He never. Maybe you might be corrected on this one. But from my check, he never used commercial flights to travel under any circumstances. You see, but sweetheart, the issue is that the president must travel. Is at that particular point in time, this travel is whether he use the presidential jet, which is not available, or he needs to go and more or less rent a private jet for the travel. But the country is fortunate that the president of the land's brother happens to have a jet, which the brother of the president, has decided to give it to the state to use, more or less to reduce the cost that the country would, as it were, would incur if we are to rent a private jet. The issue here is that the MPP and some Ghanaians, if I should put it that way, are talking about conflict of interest. Now, I sit down and analyze how possible there will be any form of conflict of interest in this regard. I'll ask myself, does the president's brother really need to spend that much to get favors from the president? Because we all know how close Baba, we all call him, is close to John Dramani Mahama. So whether he openly supports him by providing his private jet for his brothers, the president's travel or not, if he wants to access some form of favor from his brother, the president, certainly, I don't think it to be so difficult. You see, you all know what happened under the previous administration, where at some point we had more or less ex facto president in Ghana here. We knew those that were controlling the affairs of the state. We knew them. Or you want me to mention names? You see, we knew all of those, but the president's brother is helping the state at this point in time. You see, what are the costs that comes with it when the president is supposed to travel? If he had moved to, I decided to go for private jet. Under the previous administration, how much was costing the state for the president to travel with a private jet? The cost, if I could remember correctly, was between 15,000 to 18,000 per hour. And some instances, the president at that time could rent the jet for about 3 days. So just imagine the cost that at the end of the day will come to the state. At this instance, the cost that is coming to the state is just the fueling, which if we are using our private jet or using the presidential jet, we would have incurred that cost. The landing cost certainly would have incurred cost. So for the president's brother to give us his jet is rather saving the state some form of money. So the question is that what alternative is the MPP bringing on board? Are we supposed to go and rent? You see, yes, these people are good at renting presidential jets just to cost the state a more excessive cost. What is happening right now is that they are so furious, or they are so confused, if I should put it that way, because they think that the NDC, why is he in opposition, criticize the president for using or renting jet. You see, the issue was not necessarily about the renting of the jet. The issue was about the cost of the jet. You see, the former president was so fixated to the fact that he wanted to always rent the most expensive jet on the market. More or less live like an Arabian king. But at that point in time, the people in Ghana were struggling. Over 820,000 people were being pushed to the poverty line because due to that high inflation that we experienced during those periods, those era. So if in your country you are asking us to tighten our belt, which Ghanaians understood the president or wanted to help the president by tightening our belt, but the president at that point decided to lose his bet and have that big belly. So at the end of the day, at some point, you want the Ghanaians to understand you and live more or less, decide to live a lane kind of expenses. But you being the leader at that point in time was not ready to even cut down your expenditure. So how then do you expect Ghanaians to accept your position? So if the president at that time had decided to go for rent a private jet, but some cheaper one, I don't think that issue have been a problem. When it comes to the president's initiative to buy the presidential jet as at that time, what were the reasons that were cited? When then the defense minister Honorable Nitiu was in parliament, when he was asked why he wants the state to buy a new presidential jet, what was the reason? One, he stated that the presidential jet was not in good shape. See that the presidential jet that the then defense minister claimed that was not in good shape was rented out to the president of Liberia. So the question was that a jet that is not in good shape, how was that possible for that jet to be rented out to a different, as another president? So if you look at what they told us, just oppose that with what was happening. Yes, there was some form of untruth that being peddled by somebody. So what was happening? So Ghanaians wanted the truth. Ghanaians realized that the then MPP government were not telling the Ghanaians the truth. And one thing that they made known to us, that the presidential jet was too short. The space between the seats were too short. Some of us didn't know that the president Nanado was too tall, or his legs were too tall to the extent that he needed a bigger space for him to relax. And another thing that broke the back of the camel at that time was the defense minister telling us that the president could not shower when he was with the Ghanaians private jet. And Ghanaians got so furious about it that you being the president, you want to shower on us. I quite remember some funny way. I remember the current chairman for the NDC making that now it is not even safe to collect water from the sky because it might be the president's water, bath water. So, you see, this is the concerns that Ghanaians were raising.
Right, Mr.
You understand? So
if time is up.
If I may land, if they are criticizing at this point in time, they should look at the cost implications of it. Okay. And that was the main concern.
Right. That was the main concern, looking at the cost. Were you also looking at the cost?
Before I come in, I will look at this topic in two ways, and what was sent to me when I went through it. Accountability and then transparency is well attached to it. Right. So if accountability and then transparency is well attached to it, I was expecting my brother to do better. But unfortunately, he lamented so much. You see, to tackle the main issue, I want him to know that the former president has used commercial flights so many times, so many times, from Ghana to Belgium, from Ghana to Dubai, and I think I can't capture the date, but this flight from France, the number is AF0584. That was his first trip. You know, my biggest concern about this presidential jets using commercial flights and all that, I am of the view that the president has indeed breached his code of conduct. When he was in opposition, the president today, John Dramani Mahama, in opposition, he spoke against the president Nana Danko Akufo-Addo using the commercial jet. That was what he did. He spoke a lot, and if I listened to the audio and I was like, wow, is it really president that was speaking here? Now, after all these things, after your attacks and all that, you come back today to tell us that you want to use your brother's jet. You know, when we took power, or when we took over in 2017, we said the presidential jet was not serviceable. They said the jet was serviceable and that we should work on the jet. They were concerned about our president's security. They were concerned about accountability. They were concerned about transparency and all those things. We saw how Ablakwa, the current president, John Dramani Mahama himself, blasted Nana Danko Akufo-Addo on all this commercial use. Today, what has changed? Today, they are in government. They are tuning to the same direction. They are going back to the same thing they condemned, and that is my worry. Your brother giving you a jet to travel with, it completely breaks the conflict of interest.
In what sense? Can you
Your brother has secured a jet for himself, and that jet is meant for his personal use. Now he has given that jet free of charge to you. Now, the amount of the people you are even traveling with, nobody knows how much is going to be spent on it. Nobody is aware of it. He does through the jets. And doesn't mean that he forward the jet for you to be using it for our routines.
All right. So if you heard from Mr. Kwache, he mentioned that they pay for the landing fee and also the fuels and also for the staff that will be attending to the president in the jet. So he made it clear to the public that this is what they are covering.
They only saying they made it publicly to us that this is what they have paid for. Did you know the amount that have gone inside?
But has that always been the case?
That's been the case, because before a president travels, nobody's against the travel of a president. We are against the fact that there's no accountability and transparency in the traveling. Before the president travels, the parliament must know about it. They have to know the number of people that are going. They have to know why they are going, what benefit your traveling brings back to the country. Before we use the taxpayers' money, that is supposed to be. Look, this is not accountability. Is not a favor. It's a constitutional obligation. That's what I always say. And you see, if your brother has bought his jet for his personal use, and you are also using that jet to run our activities, supposing your brother was not having a jet, what would have happened? What negotiation, what engagement gone in before the brother chooses to release the jet to the brother to use it on the national matters? That is one thing we are so much concerned. I think if there is a need for the country to have a jet, and they have already proposed of 4 routing of aircrafts. They propose it. And they have allocated so many billions into it, in dollars to it. They should not be sitting on the money. If there's a need for a jet, they should buy the jet. They should buy a jet. We wouldn't have a problem with that, because they were the very people that were against the issue of presidential jets, where some of them, Ablakwa, the foreign affairs minister, said if their own president should buy a jet, he will resign. He is the person championing the buying of presidential jet today. We are not afraid. We are not bothered about it. We know how they make noise. So if we want to follow these NDC people, I don't think we have to push Ghana to where we want.
Right. Have you heard from the Secretary of the President, Mr. Callistus Mama?
He said what?
He said that they have acquired a new jet and then it will be landing in November. Did you hear that?
If they have acquired a new jet and it will be landing in November or whatsoever, you see, madam, the issue here is that supposing John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, brothers were not having a presidential jet, what would have been the fate of the president? What would the president do? So that is the angle we have to also take it from.
Right. So what alternative would a minority provide that the president do rather than using his brother's jet? should he continue with the commercial?
The thing
travel?
is, if we have to be clear, the president must be clear to the Ghanaians. If the brother jet is for renting, we should know, so that anytime he's traveling with it, we know that the brother has bought the jet and they are using it for renting, and he has gone to rent it. There is nothing different from when President Nanadu sought to rent a presidential jet. They were talking about it, and you know why? Because President Nanadu brothers was not having a presidential jet, a private jet. That's why he opted to rent a jet. Now your brother is having it; they are giving it to you free of charge. What happens if today all of us agree that it is best? It's a good idea. Maybe probably the next president to come, your brother don't have a jet. Can we make references to this? See, there are certain precedents we must not set in this country. So we want the brother of John Dramani Mahama to be clear to us. If his jet, maybe anybody can come and rent it. We know that you bought it purposely for renting. You should not be using it to run errands for the country because your brother is the president. You are getting something in. Yes, I know what I'm talking about. You are getting something in return. I'm telling you, nothing is done free.
Do you have
If I don't have fact, what they were supposed to tell us?
You are just assuming.
I am not assuming. They were supposed to tell us clearly what goes inside every traveling.
Okay.
And if you listen to Ablakwa, I think that was on 31st January 2025, he vowed, he promised, he made a pledge that he was going to enroll a system that would push the president to provide a comprehensive presidential, traveling, so that it will be made known to the public to ensure transparency and accountability, right? Today he's a foreign affairs minister. Where is that comprehensive note? We have not seen it. You have gone for your own brother's jets. We don't even know how much, what was discussed. Because, you see, if you have gone in for a presidential jet, if you want to rent a jet for presidential purposes, in the interest of the nation, we must know how much you are renting it. We must know the engagement, and the parliament must know what you have engaged with the people or the external bodies you are renting the jet from. You know what? President don't travel alone. If the president is going to engage, you must go in the field which you are going to engage with. You must go with the minister. You must go with the experts. Probably where you are going to engage, the president don't know much about it. You must travel with all those people. And so before you rent a jet, you must have people that will sit around for you to engage. Was that done with a brother? You don't know. I don't know. Nobody is aware of it. So what they are calling for, what they are holding the president today is from his own mouth, his own words. He said that it was wrong. So why is he going back to do it today? He said it was wrong.
To use brother's jet.
Yes, he said it was wrong to use commercial jets.
He said it.
He said it.
It's wrong to
He
use...
said we should service our jet. If you listen, I said it. See?
Who?
One thing, president, listen. In opposition, when President Mahama was in opposition,
where?
I told you, listen. One thing is that you should be more of doing research. Me, one thing, when you start, listen, that's why you come in here with your phone. Me, when someone is speaking about my nature,
no, James,
I'm coming, please.
No, you can prove me wrong.
No, you sat here and lied about what is it, the recruitment.
You see, you are coming at my pen. No, you are coming at my pen.
If you want to do this,
it's not about I want to do this. It's not about I want to do this.
If you want to do this,
I use the word. That's what I use about because there are some instances that there was no serving of forms here in Ghana yet.
Listen,
unless you can tell me.
You said 5 years. You were
I said about. I use the word about.
Gentlemen.
Because I knew what I was doing. That's why I use the word about.
If you want to do this,
what is the want to do this?
If you want to do this, you won't talk.
Right.
No, it is not about you. But you have interjected me. You have interjected me. You have interjected me.
No.
What is the no?
Listen,
Mr. George.
I can do far more than this.
It's not about what you can do or you cannot do.
That's enough.
So
that's enough.
Don't.
Mr. Chambers.
I prefer that.
Please
I am not
no,
talking
listen
to you.
to me.
I prefer that. I prefer that. if I am making a submission and I say something, when you said about the age, I mean the years, I didn't do
Right,
it anytime.
and you went ahead to clarify.
No,
yes,
you
I
have
went
you
into
have
this-
interjected. I'm not the first person. You did
Right.
interjected.
Far away.
Interject here. You have done it to me before.
Gentlemen,
So what is
far
it?
away from the interjection. You
so-
mentioned that the president said it was wrong, and
To
then
use a commercial.
The president directed that we service the presidential jet in 2017. Go there and do your checks.
It's not by you
Go.
ordered. He said it is wrong to use.
Yeah, but if
to use
it's-
to use
if
a commercial.
it's-
No, you said the
seriously?
president said it is wrong
Did you-
to use a commercial.
Do you listen to Kabiru? If you listen to, so it is
No,
it
for
is-
the
I'm
for,
coming.
for
Let
the
me-
sake for
let
the
me-
sake of clarity
let me-
and
let me-
for the
let me-
sake
let
of
me-
our
let me-
audience,
let me
I think it
clarify.
would be better for
Let
you
me-
to just
let me-
give
let me-
us the source.
I'm coming.
Then we
I
can
am
all
saying
fact
that-
check
I am
it.
saying that you can use any of the social media handles. You can ask your producer to do it. But before
So
that,
if we don't find, so what
let
if
me-
we don't find any?
You find it. I don't have reason to lie. You know me too well that.
And the president said you shouldn't use commercial. It's wrong
President
to use,
condemned Nanadu for using commercial jets and saying that we
Using
should
private
service,
jet or commercial?
using commercial flight.
Private or commercial?
Commercial flight, please. You go ahead, do your distance.
All right, so let's proceed whilst we do the fact check. You can
go ahead.
you can proceed.
You can go ahead. That's
right.
fine.
Well, but I have a question for you. You mentioned that the president is breaching his own code of conduct, and I would like to know which of the conduct is he breaching.
If you have spoken against something, you condemn something, saying that it is not the best, and you go back to do it, it's not a code of conduct by your own self. He condemn it. That's what I'm saying, that you should do his check. But before that, I stopped because I'm that type. I don't move with emotions. But I don't like it. I don't like it when someone puffed at me. It's just one thing I don't like. And professionally, it doesn't sound well in public that you puff, But that notwithstanding, I think he can just. I'll come in later.
Right, Mr. George.
Mm-hmm.
So they mentioned that it's actually wrong. Is a conflict of interest of the president using his own brother's jet to travel. And then we've also heard from the secretary of the president, Mr. Mahama Kalistos, that this is also to save costs for the country. This morning on our news review, we read that the previous administration, whilst they were renting the private jets for the president travel, they were paying $14,000 to $15,000 per hour. So you can imagine, looking at all the travels that we've seen our presidents going, and the only way they can save the country of this huge amount of money they'll be paying for private jets is to fuel his brother's jets and also pay for landing and also the staff in there. Don't you think it's a laudable idea?
Sita, so after the ranting, he came to agree that yes, there was some form of the agency as a country to ensure that we have a presidential jet. You see, I earlier indicated that the reason why the NDC opposed the buying, or should I say Ghanaians opposed the buying of the presidential jet as at the previous administration, was that the reasons that were given didn't make sense to most Ghanaians. I stated to the point that baffing, how closeness of the seat, and then the presidential, the Ghana presidential jet not being in good use, where at some point in time we saw it being renting it out to a different country, was more or less questionable. So Ghanaians didn't like the idea that the reasons that were given was not the best. So how then do you stand on just set reasoning and support your purchasing of the jet? And that was the main reason why Ghanaians didn't like that position. But we all agree that as a country, we need presidential jets, even if it is 2 or 3. There's nothing wrong with it. You understand? Because when Ima was speaking, you were trying to make a point that now we have a president that happens to have a brother who has a private jet.
Yeah.
So if at some point in time there's no the president's brother don't have said jet, then how are we going to manage it? So there's a point, we all agree that as a country, we must and we have to buy a presidential jet. But now, as you made it known to us, that the cost involved as far as what the Ghana is going to incur is far less as going to rent what you call private jet. The private jet can also be commercial. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody might go and use some commercial and come and tell us that it's commercial, because when it's being rented, more or less, it's also all forms of commercial. It's operate commercial. The point I'm trying to make is that the president and the brother decided that he wanted to help. And my brother was saying that nothing is done for free, but I can tell you for sure there are countless evidence that Baba, the president, the brother of the president, Honorable, should I say Mr. Ibrahim Mahama? Yeah, Engineer Mahama, Engineer Ibrahim Mahama, as it stands now, has even decided to dedicate his other private jet.
His own jet.
Yes, for emergency instances. I remember when our mother, Nana Jane, had some health issues. He used his private jet to take her out of the country.
Yeah.
So that one, does it also raise conflict of interest, or that one is a different instances? You see, I know a lot of people in Ghana here who fell sick and they were in serious condition. He had to step in to foot the bill for those people. He has been doing that kind of doing a lot of humanitarian activities, so should I say act, that we all know who the personality of that person is. So if at this point in time he had decided to help the brother or the country, not even necessarily the brother, to help the country or to help the state to reduce unnecessary cost, and you have issues with it. Yes, he was talking about accountability, seriously, and transparency. When did the president of the Nanado came out to tell us that he spent ABCD on his travels? Even when we were raising issues about how much he was traveling, none of his communicators came out to admit whether it was true or not. Or that one, they didn't know anything about transparency at that time.
Right.
What has changed? You see, as I said, Ghanaians know the MPP that we are dealing with. They know them. So if just yesterday you have now changed yourself into a saint, I don't know how Ghanaians are going to accept that kind of nature that you are trying to paint.
Right. So on our checks, we actually haven't seen anything of the president condemning the former president of using a commercial jet or whatever you mentioned.
Oh, he's a good researcher, so you bring it up.
And then
you see,
what we have here is that the NDC, specifically figures like Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, criticized the hiring of a luxurious private jet for travel to destinations like the UK and France, which they claim cost taxpayers nearly $14,000 to $18,000 per hour.
Yeah, so if I recall, that was the more or less
so
that
is the clarification. If you have any other, you can bring it forward so we can also look into that.
That was
I
a
have
mantle.
a video here from Kabiru.
From Kabiru.
Yes.
And what did he say in the video?
He condemned. He actually spoke about the code of conduct.
Did he condemn the fact that
he said even my joy FM. I'm trying to track it, but I'm not getting this. My joy FM said it. Even Dominic, the former defense minister, made that statement, criticized in the form of fan in parliament with the same statement,
criticizing
the former
president.
That was the former president then.
The former president.
JM for criticizing Nanadu for using commercial jet. He actually cautioned and said they should repair or they should service the presidential jet we were having in the country.
I was thinking, as a good researcher, that he has made us known. He would have, provided with a source. But anyway, let's continue.
Don't worry, my producer will
and
look
the video
into
is here.
Now, I have a question
Video by who?
Right.
Kabiru.
I'm saying that this
video by who? Kabiru.
Right, Mr. Chambers, I have a question for you.
All right.
So we are saying that it's wrong for the president to use his brother's jet, and what did I even wanted to add to that? It's wrong for the president to use his brother's jet, and it's also costive to also rent a jet. So what other alternative would you if you were the majority as at that time?
They know the alternatives already.
So what is the alternative? If you are bashing it, you should provide another alternative. Maybe they could buy into it. So what other alternative do you think?
Well, the alternatives is what they stood against.
Which
saying that the president, the former president Nana Addo bought a jet, and that jet he was bathing inside the air.
He didn't buy the jet; he rented the jet.
That he rented a jet.
Good.
Unfortunately, the jet they are also bringing, we are told that there's a place they can bath. Everything is inside. You see, this hypocrisy, the high level of hypocrisy or the degree of hypocrisy must stop. If the president rented a jet, he was bathing inside. You have gone in for a jet. Your president is also going to bath inside. What is the difference?
Right.
You see, the issue here is this. We must make sure that we always try to know what is right. John Dramani Mahama, being a former president, he should know better. He has served a lot that he should know that it is good we have a jet. It is good we have safety in our travels. It is important. Right. We are much concerned about the security level, and they taught us how to, protect the president when he's traveling.
Right.
And so I would suggest, or I would say that they should get the presidential jet. If we can get a presidential jet, we should get it. Other countries are having it. It is important that we have a presidential jet. And they have already told us that they are going to route through about 4 of them, which, like I said, they've allocated monies, and we are waiting for them to enroll it. You think they don't know what they should have done? They know it perfectly.
But you can't just buy a jet and it just appears like that.
It can appear like that.
It goes through some sort of process.
It goes through a lot of process. I understand. But we are saying that even if the president will be using his brother's jet, they should be transparent to us. He shouldn't just go sit in a room, engage with the brother, come out and say that, he's giving the jet to me free of charge and all that. No, that should not be the case. We should have experts that are well involved, and they should follow the due process before the jet is released.
So all what the minority is asking for
is a transparency
and accountability.
What goes inside?
Right. Void of politics or political party or whatsoever. Are we supposed to even be politicizing this whole issue? Because mind you that if this jet is bought, Mama is not taking it to his house. It's not for NDC. It's actually for the state. Yeah. And if in future Bawumia becomes president, he will still use that jet. So why are we doing this on propaganda and politics? Is it needed?
We knew where it started.
Where did it start?
President Kufuor. During the time of President Kufuor, when we not having a jet the president could use. It began there. You understand?
Should we continue with that precedent if we know it's not healthy?
You see, when President Kufuor took over, there was no any presidential jet, but they took it so lightly that we have to get. It is important we treat our presidents like other countries do. You understand? And so they spoke about it. We saw the position of the NDC. They stood against it. And that is what has brought us this far. You realize that even somewhere along the line, if the president is going to travel within the country, they have to rely on the aircraft. That was what they were relying on. Right. So I think it is important. We are waiting for them. They were saying that it is not a good idea for us to get a presidential jet. The renting, they said we were buffing, and where there's no water, all the water bodies were not safe for us to drink and all that. Maybe they have a very good way, and that is why the Ghanaians have given them the opportunity. So we are expecting them. You see, we are not even doing politics with us. We know the effects of it. But they were doing politics with it.
Oh, even in parliament.
They were doing politics with it. If you have a foreign affairs minister who says that anytime my president opts to buy a jet, I will resign. I will not be an MP again. And you are the same person championing the whole thing. And you will sit in parliament, watch people talk about it, and you are quiet. Your own people are talking about it, and you are quiet. You have not even apologized to the people. You see, enough of this hypocrisy.
You see, as I said, he just ran, then come back to the realization. You see, Ghanaians are not even against, as it stands now, against the state purchasing of presidential jets.
Well, but did your guy, foreign affairs minister, did he stand against it or not? You can say Ghanaians. It is he stand against it. He stood against it.
Is it things that you don't want somebody to do it to you?
No. But you started it. Let's go that way. You say Ghanaians are not against.
I'm not the one who started it.
No, you say Ghanaians are not against. But I'm saying that your own foreign affairs minister, Ablakwa, did he do something like that or not?
What I'm saying is that Ghanaians are not against the fact that the president of the day should purchase presidential jet. Why? Because they understand the importance as it stands now for the state to have a presidential jet. Because it cannot be that the president of the land needs to always think about flying commercial, more or less using the normal commercial, not the rented ones, to go and use either first class. I remember the president, the current president, during the first JM1, managed to use first class, which most presidents probably wouldn't have done that. You understand? But he did that. But the issue is that people raise concerns about it. JM is somebody that does not care about where the means he used to travel, because he can even just use any ordinary bus or whatever to go to whatever you want to go. But the issue is that there's a call by the state that
you're not James, so how do you say he can use
there's a call by the state that the president, as going forward, must have a presidential jet. You see, the reason why some Ghanaians are even raising concern about the president using his brother's jet is because they think that the security of the president might be compromised at some point in time. That is why some Ghanaians are raising concerns. You understand? Because they think that if it's the presidential jet, you might have control of all even the crew and everybody on board. But as it stands now, the brother probably might be giving, the workers and all those stuff. But if it's the presidential jet, all of them automatically might be some military or something like that, working with the president. You understand? So they may think that the security at that point is higher as compared to using the brother. So some people are complaining, not necessarily that they think that it's wrong, but there is that conflict of interest. You and I will agree that it's neither here nor there. It doesn't carry any form of water, and my brother will admit. And I believe that going forward as a country, you see, it is not everything that we politicize it. It is not everything that you are at the minority side, so let's go back. Is it this Okujeto matter that you are talking about? Okujeto's agenda was about the luxurious renting of presidential jet. That the president at the time had a serious appetite for luxury things. Right. So and that was our problem.
Looking at the amount of money the previous administration was paying for the jet, do you think that money could have been summed up to get a jet for us?
It might not, but it was very expensive. It was a substantial amount of money. It was a substantial amount of money. You understand? Because renting per hour, I've not done that. I think sometime I did the calculation, but it's not here. Just one travel was in millions. Just one travel was in millions.
18,000.
Yes, per hour. And at times you're able to rent it for 3 days. Just do the calculation.
That's a lot of money.
And that time, if you should convert it to cedis, you run away.
None that the dollar.
Yeah. Because that time the dollar was, running everywhere. So the point is that we have gotten to, as a country, we've gotten to the point that we know it is the right time for us to, purchase the presidential. Because looking at the costs involved, looking at the goodwill that the government now is having, this is the best time for the state to acquire a presidential. If not, that is going to continue with that kind of political football, which everybody will agree that is not going to be the best for it, because it might be a point where the president that will come will not have a brother that is having a presidential jet, and that particular point in time, that president had to go and rent at more or less at a higher cost to the state.
So let's read comments on Facebook. This is from Baba, my boss. I'm watching you live. I don't know who he's referring to, and this is also from Abdul Razak. Excellence, that is what he said. So we are wrapping up this particular topic.
I'm coming.
No, please, we are done.
We are
done with this
topic.
To me, please. I gave you a chance to talk, and then I gave him a chance. If I give you another chance, he will want to. No, please.
No, please.
No, we have to go into the second topic.
I have to ask the question.
No, I beg you.
Oh,
we have to go
made
into.
A statement which
no,
is not...
we are working with time. please.
What do you
I'll
want?
give you once I get into the second topic. Maybe you can use part of your time to.
That's the second topic. How will I chip into that?
And I'm saying that our time is limited, so please, maybe
you can
have
use
to,
your time to talk about that.
Yeah, exactly, as I was saying. Yeah, so looking at our second topic, this is from Imani Africa. So Imani Center for Policy and Education has launched a campaign to track and expose the wealth of public officials, challenging Ghana's long-standing asset declaration system, led by its president, Franklin Kujo. Imani argues that although the 1992 Constitution requires officials to declare their assets, the practice of submitting them in sealed envelopes to the Auditor General makes the process ineffective and opaque. Using the Right to Information Act 2019 Act 989, the group plans to request access to these records, pursue legal action if necessary, and potentially challenge the constitutionality of the current system. The campaign aims to ensure greater transparency, allow citizens to monitor changes in official wealth over time, and strengthen accountability in public office. I think this issue we've actually been debating on it, that has to do with asset declaration, where government appointee or government officials submit their assets and it's still in an envelope. You don't even get to see if whatever the person has declared is true or not. So Imani Africa is actually launching a campaign to make sure that that law is actually being reviewed and they are amended. What can you say to that, Mr. Chambers?
Well, before I come in there, I
you have exactly 5 minutes.
It's okay. 5 minutes is too much, sir.
Yeah.
You see, I want to begin it this way. Hypocrisy begins when you say this is not good. Now you say it is right. You spoke about the idea that some time ago it was not right to have a jet, but now it is right to have a jet. And you have not been able to substantiate, you have not been able to delve into it, telling us why it was wrong at that time and it is right at this time. That is very unfortunate. By the way, a call from Imani is a right call, trying to track the system in a way that the declaration of assets before you get yourself a road or hold any public office. It's a very nice call. To me, I think it's a call that every average Ghanaian would love. I always say that the gateway to corruption, it begins when someone has successfully entered into politics. Had an opportunity of serving or holding any public government office. That's where the corruption begins. You see, sometimes we see people spending money, throwing money into politics, and we have no right to ask them where they have gotten the money, because you never can tell what business the person is actually doing. But I always say this. You see, when you have a law and it is not effectively working, at the end of the day, so many other laws you are going to bring on board, it's actually not going to help us. So if the Imani as a civil society is going to put a system in place where they can track your property, where they can track to know what actually you have, your assets, I think it is a very perfect idea. I also reading around it, they said they would have to put a system in place that the right to information will be made public. As the Attorney General, sometimes when assets are declared, they keep it very secret. It's declared in an envelope where public doesn't have information to it. But must we always sit down for things to happen before we delve into it or find measures to control it? Then there's no need making laws ahead of things. There's a need we set when something happened, then we look at it and make a law. The issue of Dapa and then Baba Jama's, if I read around, that were the issues they were citing and all that. Well, I think it's a nice call, but can we really control that? Is it right for someone's asset to be made publicly, does that not violate the 1992 Constitution?
How does it
Because
violate it?
I understand that you are supposed to declare your asset, but then would it be put publicly? Must everyone know everything about you? That is the right to information that we're talking about there. RTI, the right to
So
information.
that is the law that they are saying that it should be reviewed and be amended, because you asked me to declare my assets and you are the one supposed to take the envelope. I bring you the envelope and you do not get the chance to see what I've declared. Then what is the essence of declaring in the first place?
That is so, like I said, it's a right direction, it's a right call, and indeed it would favor the ordinary Ghanaian on the street. It would actually put the
government
officials
on
in the
track,
right track,
yeah.
so that this issue of corruption, we know we cannot completely, stop the issue of corruption in this
but it
country,
should start from somewhere.
It should start from somewhere that we can, in a way, beat it down. But I am saying, and I want to say that right to information should not be something that should be made publicly to everyone. There are some people that really want to remain something, like me say that, secret. They don't really want people to know much about them. And see,
is it the government officials? Or?
Yes, putting everyone's information in public might not be a best way to us. That is one angle which I'm looking at from.
But that is what a job also comes with.
Yeah, so it means that the officers that are in charge of this envelope submitted to them by the declaration of asset, they've not been truthful to us. Because if they are really serving our interest, they should make sure that whatever is presented to them, at the end of the day, when someone is spending or when they realize that the person is possessing extra properties, they should hold those people accountable. The public knowing it, it's not a problem. But would the public hold them accountable when we realize that they have access property to what they declared? The issue of Baba Jamal, we saw how he overspent money, how he bought the votes of people by a huge amount of money. I am saying that even if he had declared his assets, the public knows of it. Now you question him and he tells you that, I had the money from a friend. What happens to that? So they should not just, we shouldn't focus on making the assets of the people publicly. They should have a law that will regulate all these kind of spendings. They should have laws that will regulate all these kind of extra properties when someone assumes office.
Mr. John.
Okay, so I think you might try to go back a little bit, but you see, I stated the reason why at that time people didn't support the purchasing of the presidential jet, and I cited the reasons that then the defense minister gave, which made it impossible for Ghanaians to support that agenda. So maybe if you didn't get that, so if I may proceed.
I didn't listen to that. I didn't hear you talk about.
This is why
you didn't talk about the defense minister.
Good.
You didn't hear.
Yes. So why? No. The defense minister, you provided
Mr.
reasons.
Chambers,
Which reasons?
Mr. Chambers, please calm down.
No, which reasons?
Please listen to me. This is why I didn't want you to begin with that, even when we were done with the topic. Simply because if he says something, he will be forced to rebut again. And when it happens like that, we wouldn't be able to finish the topic we are talking about. In as much as we all have a lot to say, sometimes we have to consider the time. You get me?
Yeah.
Right, thank you.
Okay, so if I may proceed. Our brother Franklin Kujo, the president, if I'm not mistaken, of Imani, the call that or his agenda to pursue in terms of how the declaration of the asset is being done. Yes, we all have issues with it because I have been looking at it and I don't really understand why that you said you have property A and that thing is concealed in an envelope and kept with AG.
No, with the Attorney General.
Yeah.
With the Auditor General.
Auditor General,
Yes.
yeah, Auditor General. They have abbreviations, so pardon me if I use it.
It's fine. Some people will mistake it.
Okay. So, at the end of the day, nobody knows what is in the envelope. But my main concern is that if it cannot be made public, to us, the ordinary people, those that the documents were left with, should be able to know exactly what it contains.
What
Because
it
what if
contains.
it's a bomb that have been placed there?
Or maybe an empty.
Yeah. You see, somebody might get an appointment. Maybe I'll be fortunate and be given an appointment. Possibly, as at that, I don't even own a bicycle. But looking at the nature of the position that I've gotten, I can envisage that maybe by the end of the 4 years or by the end of maybe 1 year or 2 years, I'll be able to acquire property A, property B, or I'll do this, do that. And I'll include it. But at that particular point in time, I might not have those assets or those properties. You understand? So I might state it in there, knowing that maybe in the near future I'll achieve that. So that if tomorrow you come and you realize, oh, I've acquired property B, property A, and you want to, scrutinize me. At the end of the day, I have it there. I've already stated it. And it seems to people that, oh, okay, I already had it. Which, in actual sense, it didn't exist. So in my view, I think that but I'm also looking at making it public making the asset public to the ordinary Ghanaian. There's a serious security implications to that.
Yeah.
Because in Ghana here, if we realize that somebody is having a lot of properties, okay, this guy is having money, and it might not order words for some people. Some might be attacked. Because I believe that if it is made public, if the location of the asset will be known, you understand? I know a lot of politicians that are having assets, and even their wives do not even know the location of the asset. You understand? So if it should be made public, at the end of the day, if he's having a hideout, the hideout is being exposed. You understand? So there are a whole lot of security implication making it public. And you see, I have a problem in Ghana, with some, especially the proposition being proposed by Franklin Kujo. It's always about politicians. But in my view, the chunk of the problem is not with the politicians.
But it's about who?
It's with the ordinary Ghanaians.
So we should also declare.
You see that I'm coming. If you look at the infractions with the Auditor General every year, most of them are committed by civil servants. Are being committed
in the public
sector. You see, we mostly jump into the discussion and all the arsenals are being directed to politicians. But a civil servant will be in a certain ministry, and the harm that person is causing is more than twice or thrice than what a politician is doing at certain institution. And it's like we keep on recycling those people. And the civil servant will tell you that you came to meet her, you will leave. And that is the truth. When you are given an appointment in a certain institution to head an institution, they will tell you that, oh, you just have a few years. We came to meet us. You will leave and you still be here. And those people are always creating the mess. So if there will be a law to tackle what we call the unexplained wealth, that in my view would really help. Because in Ghana here, the challenge that we are even having as a country fighting corruption has been that if by virtue some information, somebody gets access that, okay, a politician is having, let's say, $1 billion in his account, it's up to the state to prove whether the $1 billion in the person's account was acquired unlawfully or used corrupt means to acquire that money. And it's difficult to prove that.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Are we as a country ready to amend this law? Because this law has been in existence since 1992, and I don't think no government has actually come to the realization of it. The thing, if you do it, you would have done it so long time.
Yeah,
but as a country, are we really ready to fight corruption? Looking at the whole issues surrounding the law.
My view, to be very difficult. Looking at the security implication I made mention of, because none of the MPs will be comfortable, or the ministers will be comfortable that their assets should be made public. Where he sits, his houses, everything should be known. His car numbers and everything should be made public.
Okay, so what about the Auditor General? Can they make it known to just the Auditor?
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to propose.
Or you think there could be an influence also there? Or they can't just trust him?
It's my leak, but I think there might be a law that might be preventing the what do you call that, Attorney General to leak such information. The Auditor General.
There's actually a law that
Yeah.
prevents the Auditor General from looking into it.
I'm talking about leaking it. If there's opportunity for him to see.
Okay, there should be a law attached to
Yes,
it. So if they see it anywhere, the
uh-huh.
Auditor General should be held
Yeah, those people will be held responsible.
I think that's okay.
If there might be some law like that, but if to leave it open like that, that it should be made public, and if somebody like me can have access to, the property being acquired by, say, the president, in my view, doesn't really order well. Looking at the security challenges, but my concern is that if the unexplained world is being tackled well, I think we might be having making a headway in that regard.
Mr. Chambers, what about you? Are we ready to amend that law?
Actually, it will be prudent we look at it and add some flesh to it rather than amending the entire law. I don't know their definitions to it. I remember sometime I sat here and said the issue we have is the weak enforcement of law. This law they are calling for is already in existence.
Mm-hmm.
And why is the law not working? So maybe we have not put ourselves in a place that we are supposed to enforce that law. And so enforcement of it should be something that we should always look at. If there's strict enforcement of this law, it will work perfectly. But as to whether they would be able to change it that way, well, I don't know whether it's an entrenched provision.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know whether it's an entrenched provision. If it is an entrenched provision in the Constitution, it will be tough for us to, amend it as so cheap as that. But if it is not an entrenched provision, we shall look at it. The public will always have their view, but those in charge of the law will look at what will favor them and regulate it that way. I know that the system is such a way that people don't want to set bad precedents, but yet they do. So there are certain laws under the watch of any chief justice will not sit down to allow people to say it was in my regime this thing has changed. Some people don't want it that way. I remembered, in the case of Nigeria, they said if you have to become a president of Nigeria, you must win in Lagos and is it Port Harcourt or something like that. That's what their constitution says. But Tinubu won the election without winning those areas. When they took the election to court, the Chief Justice said, they should forget it. And they have just amended that law. So I believe that Ghana, there are certain laws we actually don't want to amend them, or because those who are supposed to champion the amendment don't want it to be like it was my time, those things has been amended. But I would say that the laws that are already existing, whatever it is, we should ensure the strict enforcement of them.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Chambers. Our time is up, so we are calling it a day on the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. Before we leave, your final words, Mr. George.
All right, so what I'll just say is that the MPP, we expect the MPP government to be, should I say, MPP party to be alternative party. A party in waiting. But the posturing that been portrayed as it stands now, does not strengthen the democracy that we have been all fighting for. They should understand, come to terms to the fact that the democracy, the governance system that we have as a country has really changed, and we expect them to go by the change that is happening. Without them, I don't think going into the next election, maybe the 38 might turn into 28, and I don't want that to happen.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. George. Mr. Chambers, your final words.
Well, I want to extend my greetings to the Member of Parliament for Bandai constituency, Honorable Maichunyindam. He has done something that I'm so much pleased with. Recently, we have an issue that we were handling. We presented the issue before him, and the manner and approach which he tackled the issue was so well. And of course, that has been his nature. And I now understand why when the judge and the NDC government were trying to remove him from office, we now understand why the good people of Bandai were, rioting and shouting there.
I believe you passed there from here.
we want to say a very big thank you to him. He has really done so well, and may God bless him.
Right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. But before we leave, let me read this one. If my blood sibling owns a Rolls Royce, would it make sense to rent another when his own is readily available? Put your shoes in